the premier sports website in the country.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get much better than that.
Yeah, no, it's like Bleacher Report with people with taste.
Yeah, it's also updated about every 6 months. So if you're looking for something to read that was written about 2 years ago, yeah, I mean, it's a great landing page.
Listen,
At least you're honest.
If
Oh yeah,
if you were pumping out just hacky content like all those other websites, you'd be able to update it more. Perfection takes time.
and then I wrote hacky content for about 5 years.
And you were done. You were just done.
Yeah, and then I left, and then they shut down the entire website. So I got that going for me.
They were literally lost without you.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do. They were like, we don't have a content mill kind of guy anymore that writes about what he would do with $1 billion as opposed to writing about Creighton basketball. So
no, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I actually did something very similar in high school. I was the sports editor.
Mm-hmm.
The Miller North Mustangs high school newspaper.
Go Stangs.
And roll Stangs. And I wrote about all the things I would do around the school if I had won the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I think that's quality content. I don't know what they were complaining about. They're over at Big East Coast Bias. But
so at Millard North, what would be one of the first things that you would do with that kind of money at a public school in Millard?
So I would have built a football stadium because they don't play on campus.
Like a dome?
Yes, like a whole dome.
Oh yeah,
indoor practice facility.
Robbie doesn't do cold. So.
Yeah,
that's true.
I don't do cold weather. Indoor practice facility, the whole thing. That would have been number one. At the time, they didn't have lights on their baseball field. They do now. I would have put some lights up on the baseball field. That's where I would have started. I don't remember what else I had on there. It was a little while ago. I'm getting up there.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't get like new uniforms or.
The uniforms are fine. They're very plain. That's kind of what we do there at Millard North. Just the plain blue, plain silver, helmet with the tape around it.
Doesn't it have a little green as well?
In the logos, not on the uniforms,
Okay.
not on the football uniforms. The football uniforms are very plain Jane straightforward.
You had the colors for some fun uniforms.
Oh yeah, we were think Penn State without the scandals in terms of
yeah
plain Jane. That's kind of what we were
nice to
with.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, yeah. Not criminally mean.
Okay.
Not felonious in any way that I'm aware of, at least. So that's a plus.
No, I mean, that's great. That's a good bar to leap over.
We avoided felonies at every turn.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, the only meaners we had were misdemeanors. No, I'm just kidding.
And not Missy Elliott. Now we date ourselves.
But yeah, so that's Alex Sindelar. He's going to be joining us today, hanging out, having a good time.
Yeah.
We've got lots of stuff to cover. The guest today brought to you on the lineup powered by the Rooferys at John Higgins Weather Guard. Got Brett Ciancia from Pick 6 Previews. Got lots of stuff to ask Brett today. We'll have Mike Schaefer from Huskers 24/7. He's got a busy recruiting weekend ahead of him. And then we'll talk to our friend, former Husker, Matt Verzal. That's all coming up on the show. You can get a hold of us, 402-951-1620. That is the Les Hills Harley-Davidson hotline. You can also get a hold of us on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. I'm at R.A. Lulla. Alex?
__ Sindelar.
You don't get the double underscore often.
No,
there's a guy who took all of the at Sindelar and at _ Sindelar usernames and like every other variation of that.
Well, that's messed up.
I know, and I've tried to contact him, and I mean, I can't get through to him.
Did you try just Alex Sindelar?
Yes.
There is an Alex Sindelar?
Oops. Yes.
Is there an Alex _ Sindelar?
No.
Why didn't you do that?
I don't know. I thought it was more mysterious to just be my _ last name.
Well, you used to have the best handle in the business.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, I'm getting like radio appearances and I'm starting to do things like media appearances, and I'm like, I can't go by crime bait anymore. I just can't. How can I take myself seriously if you can't really take the username seriously?
If you wanted to be mysterious, crime bait was the way to go.
Yeah, but there were a lot of misinterpretations of it.
No, there were. I had no idea what it was at first.
But it gets me to listen. Like, who's this crime bait?
We had a lengthy conversation about what that actually meant because I wanted to make sure it wasn't anything uncouth.
Yeah, I mean, think crime dog, except somebody who gets people to commit crimes for them.
Oh, so you're like a mafioso, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Mhm.
Speaking of the crime dog, Fred McGriff got elected to the Hall of Fame this week.
Yes, he did.
done.
See what I did there? Brought it right back to sports.
I love it.
Yeah, no, that's so listen. Baseball is your wheelhouse, right? That's your favorite sport.
Yeah, I would say that's right in my strike zone.
See what you did there.
You got it.
Fred McGriff, good baseball player, probably a Hall of Famer, right?
Yes.
I mean, I get that he is literally a Hall of Famer now, but in this conversation that we like to have, like that we know better than sports writers, when it comes to baseball, we probably do because they're really dumb.
Yes.
Baseball sports writers in general, not smart guys.
Very straight-laced. Don't like a lot of nonsense.
Except Bruce Springsteen.
Well, and except for all of the baseball writers we have on these fine programs, they're great.
Yeah, they're very smart people.
But Fred McGriff, not better than Barry Bonds, correct?
No, Barry Bonds is one of the greatest baseball players ever played the game.
So Fred McGriff getting in and Barry Bonds not getting in, dumb.
Agreed.
Okay.
I would take Barry Bonds over Fred McGriff. Like, sorry, crime dog, but
I'm
Barry
trying
Bonds.
to think of a hitter throughout history I would not take Barry Bonds over.
I'm old enough to remember when he's with the Pirates, and just that guy alone I would take because of everything he could do. People forget that now. They always want to focus on, what happened later. But
he was a Hall of Famer without the steroids.
He was so good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think he won 3 MVPs before he even left the Pirates.
I think so.
Or at least the third one might have been early with the Giants, but
2
it was
for sure.
It was pre his head exploding.
Right.
And he had a Hall of Fame career before the steroids.
Yeah, well, and he was collecting 2020 seasons like
just
they were
like
water.
No big deal.
Like 20 stolen bases, 20 home runs, 20. I mean, that was his entire career with the Pirates.
Yeah, no big deal at all.
Mm-mm.
And then people, people started doing steroids. He started doing steroids allegedly, never tested positive. People forget.
True.
He could have been clean, Alex. We don't know.
We don't know. Definitely wasn't.
Prove it. Show me a single positive test. It was flaxseed oil, and we know it.
Just good, hard-working American. He just liked working out a lot.
He lived in the gym.
Sudden expanding cranium syndrome can happen to anyone.
Look, and there's something to be said about somebody who wants to compete so hard that he's going to be also the best at taking steroids.
He was the best at taking steroids.
Yeah.
To be fair.
I mean, he saw McGuire and he saw Sosa and he's like, I could do that better than you.
He's like, you guys are taking steroids like an idiot. I'm going to take steroids like a pro.
Yeah, and he did. And look what happened.
They actually sort of, I know this is dorky, they sort of invented new steroids for him. So like he was the first, that Balco thing, they invented basically because to make them harder to detect.
So he's a steroid pioneer.
He is an innovator.
Oh yeah.
And a hero, I would argue. But basically,
take that.
I'm trying to remember what term they use specifically. But like Bonds and Sosa and those guys were using like the bodybuilding drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And they looked like it, right? Bonds did too, but they used a specific type of steroid that Balco invented that was really hard to detect and was more identical with what was in your body already. And so really, I mean, he's a medical marvel, if nothing else.
And that swing.
Yeah, the swing is pretty. That dude could have gotten 400 of on base percentages until he was 50.
Yes.
And then they're just like, no, we don't need a guy like that.
Well,
really?
I think there's just a lot of things surrounding him as well. He became his own sideshow.
He did.
Which was unfortunate because he was so good.
He was really, really good. And this concludes the Barry Bonds portion of our show. If you don't, one of my favorite shirts I've ever seen. My buddy has a shirt. He went out to San Francisco in the early 2000s. It's a Pitch to Barry shirt. I love those. I don't know. It's like my favorite niche sports shirt of all time.
It's great.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it was John Boyce on SB Nation who did that video of what if he took the baseball bat out of Barry Bonds' hands and he was like his on base percentage did not get affected like at all. Like he still would have been one of the best baseball players of those 2 seasons.
Yes.
He took the bat out of his hands.
Like if he literally was not allowed to swing.
Yeah.
He still would have had, it was like almost 400 still, wasn't it? The on base percentage?
Pretty much. Yeah. Well, and the fact that, I mean, and that was the advent of Moneyball was kind of in that early 2000s era. And I mean, their entire thing was, as long as he gets on base, we can drive him home. And it's like, if you just put Barry Bonds on first base 40% of the time, I think the Giants wouldn't suffer that much.
No, I think they'd be okay. I think they would be okay. So we do have a little bit more baseball to get to later on in the show. We've got a little bit of hot stove news. I know Gary's a big baseball guy, so I'm sure we would have gotten to this anyway. But
Plus, it'll warm you up because when it's this time of year and it's cold, at least you think of better days.
think of summer. Think of sitting in the bleachers
Mid-July
with a beer.
Swamp ass.
You're really hot and suffering. And you're like, I wish it was kind of cold.
See, I don't ever wish that. I don't.
I just met Ravi several weeks ago, and I believe him when he says that. There is nothing that makes me think.
I have the gift of being able to remove myself mentally from a situation. Some people call that a mental illness. It's not. For me, at least.
Dissociation.
Yeah, it's called dissociation, Ravi. You're very ill. No, but I can like remove myself from the situation I'm currently in to see the perspective of it, right?
Mhm.
And in the summer, anytime I'm like, oh, this is miserable, I'm like, better than winter. It's just ingrained in me now because I hate winter so much.
It doesn't hurt in the summer.
Yeah, it's fine. I just a little uncomfortable. That's it. And it's not like we live in a desert or, you could go inside of a building. It's not going to be dangerous to your health for the most part. Like, you're fine. It's okay.
Have you ever thought about like Phoenix, Arizona?
I have. I'll be honest, I don't love the bug situation down there. Like a scorpion, tarantula deal. So that, don't love it. I'm not saying it's a total deal breaker forever, but it does give me a bit of pause.
Yeah, and
Could you do tropical?
Ooh,
I don't know if I
now
want
you're dealing
swampy.
mosquitoes.
I don't know if I want swampy. You're talking about mosquitoes. You're talking about hurricanes.
yeah, but what about like San Jose? I feel like you don't have a lot of bugs in San Jose.
I could maybe do San Jose.
We're finding the right spot for Robbie.
Yeah, you guys are trying to get rid of me.
Just San Diego.
No, I have thought a lot about San Diego.
Who doesn't?
I'm gonna be honest.
Literally had a talk with the coffee guy this morning about San Diego.
It sounds like paradise. I've heard it's basically just Omaha, but with good weather.
Mm-hmm.
They hand out money to their baseball players like it's no big deal.
Yeah, like I'm a little mad at San Diego right now because they just are like, "Hey, Xander Bogaerts, here's $100 million more than anybody else was going to give you. Don't worry about it."
Speaking of that, did you see the nickname of San Diego?
Oh, it's terrific. I love it and I hate it.
Yep.
I'm just feeling a lot of emotions right now.
Seems like that's where Red Sox go in general. Like Xander went there. Don Orsillo, their play-by-play guy, went out there.
Don't do that. I miss Don.
He's awful.
I love Don. Don is great. Sometimes I'll watch San Diego Padres games just to be like comforted by Don Orsillo's voice. I love it. He's terrific. We'll get to more hot stove later. The Red Sox spent $100 million on a Japanese player nobody's heard of. So that's fun. I mean,
get your season tickets now.
He's 29 years old though.
Yeah. If you can sign a 30-year-old Japanese guy that is not the best Japanese guy to $100 million contract, you've got to do it.
He hit 323 last year
in Japan.
Yeah, it's still good.
It's fine. Listen, I hope he's awesome, but I was looking at the projections. People were like, "Oh, with the posting fee, it's going to be like a $40 million deal." And the Red Sox are like, "We can't afford Xander Bogaerts, but let's go get this guy that we don't know if he can play Major League Baseball."
Yeah, but you got Trevor Story at least to kind of bolster that line. Well, we'll get to baseball talk.
Not a Trevor Story guy. Really? Yeah, he's not good. It's pretty good. Listen, I'm gonna get into some splits, and you're not gonna like it.
I knew this was gonna be fun. I just knew it on the way here.
There are a lot of other things to get to. We're not burying the leader. There's gonna be plenty of Husker football. It's 6:20 in the morning. Just chill.
You have to set it up.
Yeah, you got to set it up. Also, like the main part of our audience tunes in like after the first hour, so kind of slow burning it for them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I know people go back and listen to the podcast or the radio replay, which I appreciate. Now you get a little goofiness off the top.
This is the foreplay portion of the show.
Yeah,
just kind of get it started. And
foreplay is important, guys.
Gotta get warmed up on this cold day.
Get that engine revving. Couple of the lead stories that we'll be working throughout the show today. Nebraska has a defensive coordinator. Isn't that great?
From Syracuse.
From Syracuse. People are kind of dumb about this. There's been a mix. I'm not going to say it's universal. The response to Tony White has been very dumb.
Of people being upset?
Exceedingly dumb.
People lost their you-know-what yesterday afternoon, yet nationally people were praising like great hire.
It's a terrific hire. It is a terrific hire.
Yeah.
And I agree.
And we'll get to that because I've got numbers. I've got resumes. If I get through this and you don't think it's a good hire, then you've just decided to hate all the hires and there's nothing I can do for you.
Which is so weird.
I wanted Saban.
Because coming off of just such a
did you not
season.
Watch the last 5 years of Husker football? And now you're like, nope, don't trust it.
I mean, plus his name is Tony. For a DC, you'd be like, Tony, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Tone.
I need you to lock it up on D a little bit there, Tone.
Hey, what's with the 3-3-5?
Tone, what is this? This is the East Coast defense, Tone.
It's 2022. Why aren't you playing a 4-3?
This is the Big Ten. We run a 5-2 here.
But they go 5 wide. Doesn't matter.
My DN can cover him. Tone.
He's got 4.6 speed.
We got a DN on Marvin Harrison.
Can
we call timeout?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
He's good.
We'll just go up.
Comes from an athletic family.
Let's run a 4-4 against Ohio State. That'll be fine. No, we've got Tony White. I've got a lot of thoughts on Tony White. I've got a lot of thoughts about the reaction to not just Tony White. I understand the apprehension about Donovan Raiola. I still think the reaction's over the top. Need you guys to chill a little bit. You heard my segment on sportsmanlike conduct. Got a little heated. Need people to relax.
Everybody was heated though there.
Yeah,
the text line was on fire. And
I blame John and Josh for getting me revved up. I came in nice and cool, and they just turned the heat up on me.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they started me off with Nebraska and Creighton. So I was like, what do you think was going to happen? What do you think is going to happen, man?
Pulling the strings and pressing the buttons.
Yeah, there's a little Wizard of Oz over there. I don't know.
Josh didn't go Cowboys Niners just to finish it off.
Well, I mean, that's not really a thing because Niners, baby. Even with Brock Purdy. Actually, let's get to that first because there was a football game on last night. I don't know if you know.
Wait, there was?
Yeah, Thursday night, NFL.
Oh, okay.
Thursday night football game.
I didn't know they played on Thursday nights.
Occasionally.
Huh.
Every week they do.
It's on the thing that you buy stuff from.
Yeah, it's on the Amazons.
Oh, that's Daddy Bezos's
side
project.
On Daddy Bezos's side project, he shows football games for funsies.
Wow.
How has he not bought a team yet? Also, that's like a very surprising thing, right?
Good time.
I don't know if the NFL owners would be cool with that.
No, I mean any team though. He doesn't own NBA, NFL.
Oh, true.
I mean baseball's not profitable. Well, I mean it is, but it's dying. So
yeah, no NHL team too because they're relatively cheap.
Yeah,
I mean,
you could
get the right
he
one.
seems like a guy that would buy like an MLS team because they're cheap, but they're
trendy.
Yeah, but they're profitable.
Yeah, and make them play in an Amazon warehouse.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Yeah, we'll just retrofit one.
Not climate controlled or anything. That wouldn't be a problem.
No.
But yeah, like I'm a little surprised he doesn't own a team. But yeah, so the Rams and they played somebody, Raiders.
This shows you where the Raiders are.
Rams and Raiders, but I was like, there was a very indistinct team. Nothing special happened on their side.
It was an indistinct game until the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, until the very end. And I'm going to be honest. So we were sitting here the other day, Jimmy, talking about how I thought the 49ers should maybe sign Baker Mayfield. They did not sign Baker Mayfield. They didn't sign it. Well, they signed Josh Johnson, who
hasn't.
Yeah, he's played for everybody at this point. He is the pride.
He's the new Fitzy.
The pride of the he's like the practice squad Fitzy.
Yeah,
he never actually plays.
Yeah.
Like Fitzmagic always played.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Johnson never
they got
plays.
Josh Johnson.
Hey. They labeled
clubhouse guy.
They labeled him as a 13-year vet, and I was like, vet of what? I was like, his actual service time in the NFL is closer to mine than it is Fitzmagic's.
Oh,
he's not lying though.
It's
good work. It pays well.
Listen, that and like bullpen catcher are the best gigs you can get.
That's true. Yeah,
it's a zero stress. You're gonna hang out with major leaguers or NFL guys all the time.
It's like Chase Daniel, 14-year career, really hasn't played much. It's a great life.
Chase Daniel has got this thing down. I could do Chase Daniel's job. Like just be a cool guy in the quarterback room. I could do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
we love him. You want a job after you're done playing? Sure.
And for the amount of he's actually had to throw football in the NFL, I could probably manage that. He's thrown like 4 passes in his entire career.
That's so cool.
It's the best game. He's made like
14 years.
$60 million.
He's a hero. I never thought I'd say
Like-
that about a Mizzou guy.
Chase Daniels is basically the American dream.
Oh yeah, I'll go along with that.
Like, I know everybody wants to be Tom Brady, but if you
I
can't,
don't.
be Tom Brady, be Chase Daniels.
And didn't he get beat up by Ndamukong Suh quite a few times?
Oh,
Who
in
didn't
that
though
Mizzou-
back then?
Well, I know, but I mean that game especially,
Yes,
like he was throwing him around like
a ragdoll.
yeah.
Sue
was-
should have won the Heisman in 09 just off that game.
Off
Yeah.
of what he did to Chase Daniel and Colt McCoy alone,
Yes.
which those two people were never the same
No, they weren't. They-
ever again.
he changed the entire trajectory of their lives.
He broke them.
Like talk about a powerful individual.
Yeah. He was just like throwing offensive linemen around,
He was.
which was pretty fun to watch.
And then he was able to toss a quarterback 20 yards downfield like he did to Colt McCoy multiple times.
And then the ambulance comes on the field and runs them over before it takes them off.
yeah.
But yeah, if you can't be Tom Brady, I think you, instead of being like Jimmy Garoppolo, I think I'd rather be Chase Daniel. Although I'd rather look like Jimmy Garoppolo,
Right.
Who wouldn't want it?
because Chase Daniel kind of looks like a potato.
Yes.
Jimmy Garoppolo looks like he could play Superman in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and not Clark Kent. He looked like he could play Superman.
Yes.
I don't know if he's like Superman jacked, but he's got the face, right?
He does. And he's got that nice dark hair that he can.
Yeah, and he's got the butt chin.
Yep.
The butt chin's crucial for Superman.
It's big time.
Saves the world, takes your wife, whole deal.
And you're not even mad
Nah,
about
it's
it.
cool. It's Jimmy
You're like,
G, man.
Jimmy G, that makes sense.
I just want to watch.
I respect the game. But no, there was a part of me, and this is a safe place, so I'm going to say this out loud.
Mhm.
Wish we'd signed Baker Mayfield. That's not a place that I ever thought I'd find myself in my life.
He
And
played
now the Rams
well.
got him.
And now the Rams got him, and they're not going to make the playoffs because they're bad. And the 49ers are going to, but I don't think Brock Purdy can get it done. Call me crazy.
Huh.
And it might just be because he's related to Chuba. That might be a factor that I'm weighing too heavily in this equation.
I believe Happer feels the same way in general about that, so you're not alone.
The Chuba Purdy experience was so bad that I can't imagine talent ever coming out of that bloodline again.
Watch his son be like all pro for 45 years.
The next Tom Brady.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is
Zeppo Purdy.
his
Zeppo.
his kid just breaks every Tom Brady record. It's like, well, guess I was wrong there. Must have come from the mom's side.
And you remember Mahomes? He was nothing compared to Zeppo Purdy.
Uh.
Good Lord. Reinvented the position.
Wait,
Yeah.
Jimmy, is his son actually named Zeppo?
No, but it should be.
No, he's just
Okay.
making things
Okay,
up.
good.
He may not even
I
have
don't
a
even know
son
that
yet.
they have a son. Either one of
They're
them.
young.
Anyone in that
That's
family.
true. They are pretty young still.
So yeah, that is tainting my view here of Bubba. Nope,
Exactly.
Nope, not Chuba.
There,
Ch-
Bubba
Brock,
Purdy.
Brock. Brock.
There's the kid's name, Bubba Purdy.
Listen, they got dumb names in the Purdy family. I don't know what to tell you. Brock and Chuba, come on. Yeah, so that probably informs my decision more than it should, considering they have nothing to do with one another.
Mhm.
But it does, and I'm big enough to admit that. I wish they'd sign Baker Mayfield.
Is it just for his ad reads and the commercials that he does?
I miss the commercials.
No,
They're
it's
good.
too.
it's if I can blame anyone, I can blame somebody with the most punchable face in sports.
Hmm.
Is there anybody that has a more punchable face than Baker Mayfield? I put this to you
Ooh.
in sports specifically, because we could get to other things, and I don't want to do that today.
Ooh, tough. I'm
There's
trying
got
to.
to be.
Active player, because I mean, like JJ Redick had a really punchable face at Duke.
did.
It got weirdly less punchable in the NBA.
I would put like
Almost likable now.
I'd put like Alex Bregman up there.
Oh, Alex Bragg. Jose Altuve has a super punchable face.
Yeah, but he's really small, and so it's like you feel bad for like
I do
wanting
not
to
feel
punch
bad.
him.
He's like sports
He-
small. He's
dude
not
can
like
squat
real
like
life that
500
small.
pounds.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I guess he is like 5'5". Yeah, I'd still punch Jose Altuve. Listen, this isn't would you punch them or not. It's how punchable is their face.
Sorry, I forgot the rules of the game.
Yeah, come on, man. Pull your head out.
You end up in the clink if you really do.
Yeah, like I'm not actually trying to punch anybody. We don't condone violence here on the Ravi Lulla experience on 1620 The Zone. What I am saying is he has a super punchable face.
hmm
Not that you should punch his face,
But it's very punchable.
but you look at it and you're like, I want to punch that guy in the face.
Right. In a perfect world, it's like that man is sitting at a booth and people are paying $5 to punch him in the face.
Yeah,
And it goes to a
absolutely.
good cause. So everybody's all like, yeah.
Or he like
Yeah,
signs the
it's charity.
consent form at the very least, and like that's his income, and that's fine.
Yeah, which
You use the skills
income.
that the Lord affords to you. And if you've got a punchable face, by all means, make money off of it. I have no problem there.
I do like the idea of somebody making their entire career off of just getting punched. Well, I guess, I mean,
Boxers.
they do that. Yeah, that's a good point.
There
Especially-
is something.
Especially mediocre boxers. Like our guy Bud Crawford, who fights tomorrow, by the way. We've
tying it all together.
we've got a call. I can't imagine what this is going to be.
This is going to be great.
So our guy Bud Crawford, for instance, who fights tomorrow night here in Omaha, tickets I believe still available, or you can get it on pay-per-view.
hmm
Does not make most of his money by getting punched in the face. He makes most of his money by avoiding punches and hitting other people in the face,
Yes.
which I love.
And he's very technical and he's very good at doing that.
That's the best part, and we'll get to some more Bud Crawford stuff later probably as well. But the most fun part about Terrence Crawford is how good technically he is
hmm
and how physically gifted he is at the same time. Because a lot of the guys that are like really technical are maybe not as physically gifted as other people. That's why they became so technically proficient.
Mhm.
And then you also mix that in with he also seems to really like to hurt people.
He does.
Whereas like Floyd Mayweather by the end, who was technically incredibly proficient, right?
Mhm.
Didn't really like hurting people. He was just scoring points and getting out, right? He was basically Olympic boxing. He'd touch you, he gets his point, he gets out of there. Not that much fun to watch.
Mm-mm.
Bud Crawford wants to beat you up.
Yeah, by round 8, but it's like, this is over, right?
If you get to round 8,
Well, true.
if you get to round 8, he has provided you a courtesy.
Yes.
He's like, I have been gracious enough to allow you to go 8 rounds with me. You're welcome,
Look,
but this is going to be over soon.
the people got their money's worth.
Yeah.
They were entertained.
Yeah.
But it's time to end this. And then he just has that knack
He
to end it.
also, I think, carries people for like 2 rounds.
hmm
Almost every fight I've seen him, he carries guys for like 2 rounds just to keep beating them up.
Yeah.
Like
Plus, it's good for the fans. They paid good money to go there. They don't want to go home
I
after 1 round.
legitimately believe that. Like when I watch his fights, I'm watching him. I say, this could have been over in 4 or 5.
hmm
He carried this guy to 6, 7, or 8 because he just liked punching him so much.
That's called good therapy.
And then he's like,
Getting
all right,
aggression.
it's time to go now.
Yeah. I'm gonna go do stuff after this.
Hungry.
Especially some of these guys that have like talked a lot of trash. I know he keeps them alive and hurting for a while.
Yep.
Like I know it. Like you can see it. And that's one of the most fun things because, like, you go, like I mentioned, Floyd Mayweather, one of the best like technical fighters of all time was Winky Wright, and he just didn't. I don't think he could hurt people. Like he didn't have that pop, the heavy hands that Crawford does to actually hurt people. Incredibly gifted technically, but Crawford's got that's why he's the pound for pound king, right? He's got everything you would want, and I will never forgive Errol Spence for being such a little, can I say the B word on the air?
Yeah.
For being such a little bitch and not getting this fight done. Like it makes me so mad because he was going to get, if Errol Spence ever fights Bud Crawford, he's going to hurt him because of how angry he's going to be at this whole just circus of not getting a fight done.
Yeah.
Before we get too far down the road, Pete called.
Yes.
Speaking of hurting people and beating them up, and shame on us and shame on me for not remembering this. It was not Chase Daniel that Sue threw around and beat up. It was Blaine Gabbert, though he admitted he would have loved to see Sue throw Chase Daniel around.
Right.
Very true. It is 6:30 in the morning. The coffee's still doing its thing. So thank you, Pete, for calling in.
Thank you, Pete.
It was Blaine Gabbert.
In the pouring rain in Columbia, Missouri.
See, I just see them as almost the same person.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I
mean, just as the years have gone by, my brain has completely deteriorated and become a smooth orb.
Blaine played more, so Blaine got in the NFL, so he got beat up a little more. It still stands that Chase had the best job because he didn't really get beat up that much. He's made a lot of money and just hang out.
Yep, that
Yeah.
point stands.
Yeah, no, I'd still love to be Chase Daniels or half his career at least.
Yeah, like he could be drinking beer on the sideline. Oh, it's a good throw. Do you see that?
I'm just like he could go full
Good call,
like
Sean.
Lenny Dawson, like just smoking darts on the sideline.
A heater at halftime.
And no, it'd be like, yeah, I mean that checks out. That's fine. It's a Fresca and a heater.
That's what he should be doing.
He's good. That's what he really should.
Mhm.
Like he's got enough money. If they cut him, they cut him at this point. Just start smoking heaters.
Give him a headset to McVay and
drinking Frescas on the sideline. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
He's right though. I agree with you. Blaine Gabbert and Chase Daniel are just essentially the same person in my head. At least at college, I just felt like they had the same quarterback for 8 years, and I was like, it's Chase, Blaine, Dabble, or Gainer. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, they were
the
just
backup to Chase Daniel in 07 was Blaine Dalton, so that gets even better. Like,
Yeah.
they had a type.
They're just all the same guy.
There was no Tony,
Gary
ties us back to
Gary Pinkel had a type.
and he was just swiping right on tall, kind of chunky quarterbacks.
Well, Chase Daniel's like 5'10".
Brock Purdy.
He's
Would have played for
tiny.
him.
Chase Daniel's very small.
Yeah.
Man, I don't even know what I'm talking
He's
about
listed,
anymore.
I think, at like 6 foot,
And that's
Okay.
generous.
but it's like how I was listed at 5'11".
But Blaine Gabbert is very much 6'4".
Yeah,
right?
Blaine Gabbert's
Yeah.
the big guy. He's
Yep.
big guy, the prototype. And it's funny though, because when you said you view him as the same person, I do too, even though like they look
Completely
a lot different.
Mhm.
Pretty similar quarterbacking styles, I would say, at Missouri, because the same system. But I think of them almost interchangeably, despite the fact that they look almost nothing alike. Which is kind of funny. And to your point of it was just all one amorphous blob.
Yeah, and also just every Mizzou game, you just watch it and you're kind of frowning and you're like, why is it still a game? I don't understand.
Why is this happening to
Yeah.
us? I hate it so much. We will get to more of Tony White, the new defensive coordinator at Nebraska. We're 2/3 of the way through the first hour already. We're also going to play a game. I didn't warn Alex about this.
Perfect.
I didn't warn him about anything, to be fair. So
Buckle up.
this is just mostly an Alex Sindelar reaction show.
Okay, the Ravi Lulla experience featuring
featuring the Alex Sindelar reaction show.
perfect. Okay.
Presented by.
Yeah,
Yeah.
presented by Jimmy Chavez. We're gonna do a lightning round of get to know
1620
Alex
the Lulla.
Sindelar at some point, just so you know. We're also, as I mentioned, we're gonna talk to Brett Ciance at 7:30 from Pick Six Previews. We'll get to some hot stove stuff, but coming up next, I do want to get into the new defensive coordinator for your Nebraska Cornhuskers, Tony White, and we'll get into some of the numbers of why this is a really, really good hire for Matt Rule and staff. That and more coming up on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
How many Big Ten head football coaches could name 3 Pokemon?
You got to think about the youngest coach, first of all, because maybe he would have grown up in the era of Pokemon. And who is the youngest coach in the Big Ten?
If I had to pick one, PJ Fleck. Bingo. He's probably the guy. If there is a one.
I got one for you. Mr. Sexhaver himself, Luke Fickle, with his 8 kids.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Staying cool and cloudy on Friday. Watch out for damp roads and possible fog early. Otherwise, expect mostly cloudy skies. A little breezy at times with northwest winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Highs around 38. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More time-saving traffic center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect some significant delays from 149th to 120th along Industrial Road. Then on Dodge, things are slowing down just a little bit from 94th to 90th. And on Center, be prepared for some very minor slowdowns near 168th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
Through January 4th, 2023, enter non-winning Nebraska Lottery Holiday Wishes scratch tickets for a chance to win $1, $5, or $10,000. It's the Holiday Wishes Second Chance promotion, so enter today. Top prize odds vary by game.
Thank you to everyone who voted for MD West One in the Best of Omaha contest. We are thrilled to announce MD West One has been named the #1 private medical practice in Omaha for 4 years in a row. MD West One is also named first place in the orthopedic surgery and neurosurgical spine surgery. Our 34 board certified surgeons specialize in treating every bone, joint, or muscle condition from head to toe. Go to mdwest1.com to meet the #1 place to go for orthopedic, neurosurgery, and spine.
It's time to save during 42 Degrees winter sale with savings on premium kratom starting at $11.99, Delta from $7.99, and CBD starting at $9.99. Only at The Source. 42 Degrees by your mom's house.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur. I began paying employees in 1988. I would handwrite checks and say, here you go, don't cash it until Tuesday. But a teenage employee said his dad wanted to see his pay stub. Pay stub? We don't have pay stubs. Get back to work. He said,
Dad works for the government, and state law requires that I receive a pay stub.
crud. Now I'm supposed to be an expert on withholding payroll taxes and create pay stubs? That's why I created Patriot Software, to help employers with 1 to 100 employees do their payroll correctly with pay stubs. Go to patriotsoftware.com. Use promo code RADIO and get 2 months of payroll free. That's patriotsoftware.com.
PatriotSoftware.com. Accounting and payroll. Keep your time and money.
Hi, I'm Mark Evans, owner of Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and more. Join us in supporting Food Bank for the Heartland. Right now, if you donate 5 cans of food, you can get a furnace safety inspection and cleaning for only $55. We'll take your donation right to the food bank. Checking your furnace now is a great way to avoid emergencies later. Request service at justcallburton.com.
Geico presents Daily Affirmations.
Repeat after me. We are filled with an abundance of joy.
We are filled with an abundance of joy.
Also an abundance of questions. Good thing Geico has 24/7 claim service to help answer questions and resolve claims quickly.
Good thing Geico has 24/7 claim service.
We are also filled with an abundance of biscuits.
We are also filled with, I don't think it works this way.
Oh, and jam. Don't forget jam.
To manifest more Geico in your life, go to geico.com.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
This message is for the guy who isn't perfect in the bedroom. And let's be honest, who is? Maybe the issue is getting it up or keeping it up, or maybe it's finishing too soon. If any of these performance hiccups sound familiar to you, don't sweat it. Hims can help. At 4hims.com, you can go online and get clinically proven prescription medication that treats these issues, prescribed for you, if appropriate, by licensed medical providers. And the medication is shipped free to your door in discreet packaging. Plus, Hims gives you unlimited follow-up visits with medical providers. No one's perfect in the bedroom every time, but with Hims, you can get a lot closer than before. And chances are, your partner will agree.
To get started today, go to 4hims.com/perfect. That's 4hims.com/perfect for your free visit. FORHIMS.com/PERFECT.
Listen to Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jay Overtime, the Creighton men's basketball postgame show on 1620 The Zone. Live from DJ's Dugout downtown. It's right after every home game, presented by Barry Law. Exclusively on your home for the Creighton Blue Jays. 1620 The Zone.
1620 The Zone.
Welcome back to the morning show with Ravi Lulla here on 1620 The Zone. Alex Sindelar in with me. Jimmy Chavez keeping us company as well.
Button works, so that's good.
Did it work?
Yeah, it works now.
Hold on, we're going to turn it off. Hello. It works. The button works.
Modern technology coming through again.
I can turn my mic on and off all by myself like an adult. Wanted to get to, I'm going to be honest, guys. It's a Friday. Alex and I are goofy. It's going to be a goofy show.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy likes to be goofy too.
Love it. This
But-
is why I wasn't bitching when the alarm went off. Actually, I was awake before the alarm this morning.
So my alarm went off. I immediately had a horrible low blood sugar and barely got here on time.
Okay, so that's what you meant by it's been a rough morning.
Yeah, a little
okay.
bit.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of assumed, but I didn't want to be like,
No, it's okay.
you know.
Yeah, it's we're here. We'll show my chart. It's gonna be ugly now because I'm gonna be high because I just kept eating food. High blood sugar, not high out, substances. So
Unless it's sponsored.
it's CBD. So this is what happened on that dip there when the red where it's very low.
Ooh.
Not good.
Ooh.
And that's what I woke up to. So it took me a little bit to get going this morning. But we're here. We're alive still. Plus,
literally,
Huge
like
plus.
this is not a
yeah.
We're not making
we
metaphoric here.
We didn't record this.
No, it was a little touch and go this morning. But we're good to go. We're here. We're having fun, and we have a new defensive coordinator,
Tony White
from
Syracuse.
Of the ACC.
Automatically got a journalism degree just by working there. And a job at ESPN.
Is there anything more annoying than like the Northwestern Syracuse
Yeah, went to
media person
Medill.
thing?
Yeah,
Like nobody cares. Newhouse alum. Let's stuff it. Nobody cares.
Who is this guy calling the game? Oh, he's a Syracuse alum. Oh, okay. That doesn't mean he's good.
I get there's a lot of people that went there that are good,
Right.
but now it's like, oh, they went there, they must be good. And it's like, listen, you got some dummies that go to Harvard too, right? Like I get it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
And
okay.
especially when they're like legacy people.
That's what I
and It's
mean.
like, yeah, my dad was a play-by-play guy for the
Cardinals.
Well, I was going to say some minor league team,
Gee,
but I
that could
couldn't
be-
think of the Biscuits. Who are the Biscuits? Montgomery? I think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it just the biscuits? I thought it was biscuits and something. It's not biscuits and
No,
is it just the biscuits?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the Biscuits.
Okay, I thought
And
maybe it was like-
Amarillo is the sod poodles.
Ooh, I do like the
Yeah.
sod poodles. There
It's
is
great.
also a isn't there like an Iron Ponies
There has to
up
be.
like Binghamton Iron Ponies, I think, up in the Northeast.
I think that's right.
My favorite one is the Rocket City Trash Pandas.
Yes, that's fantastic.
That's in Mobile, I believe. It's wherever in Alabama they have some NASA stuff.
No. That's Quad Cities.
Is
I
it
think.
Quad Cities? Where are the Rocket City Trash Pandas? We're gonna Google this. I need to get myself a
Quad
trash.
City was the DJs.
The DJ. Oh yeah, I don't know. Hold on, we're gonna look up where Rocket City Trash Pandas. Here we go.
Mhm.
Where are they located? Come on, computer.
I had a fantasy football team once called the Rain City Bitch Pigeons.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, they're in Madison, Alabama,
Okay.
which I knew was somewhere in Alabama where they did NASA stuff.
And they have lots of raccoons.
Yeah, it's very it's got a lot of Pawnee, Indiana vibes.
Big time. Yeah.
Nice pull. Nice pull.
But no, Nebraska has a defensive coordinator.
Mhm.
I am determined that we will talk about this at some point, at least for a segment, because that's what we do here. But Tony White, let's give you the resume, because I'll be honest, I hadn't really heard of this guy. I knew the name because I watch a lot of ACC football.
Right.
And we were talking about Dino yesterday.
Yeah, and we were talking about Dino. So like I had some level of familiarity with the name. I didn't know that much about him. So I'm looking him up. I'm looking up stats and things like that. But before rushing to this is a good hire or a bad hire, I was like, hey, I should maybe learn something about this person. Not everyone offered such a courtesy. But I'm looking up Tony White. So we'll give you the resume, all right? You've probably Googled him by now, but I've got some numbers. We'll get into it. 43 years old. Played his high school ball in El Paso, Texas. That's another Texas connection there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Played at UCLA, so you got a California and a Texas connection. People, that's a good start, first and foremost.
Also, he had committed to play at Oklahoma State.
He had
decommitted and then flipped to UCLA. So if you're looking at Zane Flores, maybe they're realizing, oh, we got a guy that
Maybe
that
you should be like,
I was
decommitted
just
from
going to
Oklahoma
say,
State.
that just means he was smart. Saw Stillwater, saw Westwood.
Yeah, maybe you'd be like, listen, I visited Stillwater.
Not a lot there.
Lincoln's better. And coming from me, that's saying something because I don't like Lincoln. But so he ended up going to UCLA. Started as a full-time assistant in 2008 at New Mexico. Went on to San Diego State, Arizona State, and then Syracuse. He was a full-time defensive coordinator at Syracuse since 2020. And here are the relevant stats for Tony White. Okay. So I'm going to start with the 2019 stats. Those are the stats the year before he took over as offensive coordinator.
Defensive coordinator.
Or defense. Yeah. Jeez.
It's okay.
As defensive coordinator. So I'm giving these to you as a reference so you know where Syracuse was before he got there. 89th in scoring defense. That's not good. There's like 130 teams. That's pretty bad. It's about to get worse. 110th in passing defense. Also quite bad.
Yep, that's pretty bad.
108th in rushing defense.
That's really bad.
And 115th in total defense.
That's terrible.
Terrible.
Very high number.
The Syracuse Orange were letting their opponents do whatever they wanted to.
Really do whatever they wanted. Very, very bad.
In the ACC, that's not a good look.
Mr. Orange was very sad about it.
Yeah, I mean, they took that.
Shout out Otto.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Otto the
Otto
Orange?
the Orange.
So Otto has that permanent smile, and
he frowned.
And
he
frowned.
and Obi, the Orange Bowl mascot.
He had to stand on his head, so he was frowning.
No, I think just watching the play, I think
it just naturally happened.
Yeah, I think it just drooped down.
Are the Orange Bowl mascot and Otto the Orange related?
I hope so.
Yeah, I think
they look very similar.
They're brother and sister, maybe. Yeah.
Your cousin in Miami.
So White took over the defense at Syracuse in 2020. They were still pretty bad in 2020. I'm not going to lie to you. This was the COVID.
We all were.
It was the COVID year. You're breaking in a new defensive coordinator when you can't meet with any of your players, so that's a problem. You have no spring ball. So they were about the same in 2020. I'm not going to lie to you. 90th in scoring, 95th in passing, 105th in rushing, 112th in defense. Almost the exact same. 2021 gets really interesting.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. Here comes the coaching.
Buckle in.
All of our lives changed.
Strap in. Syracuse in 2021 jumps from 90th to 64th in scoring defense. Jumps from 95th in passing to 26th in passing defense.
Whoa.
Jumps from 105th in rushing to 28th in rushing. And 21st in total defense from 112th. That is a 89 spot improvement.
Okay, so
in 1 year.
Tony White might know what he's doing.
2022. Let's see if 2021 was a fluke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
See if it was a fluke.
Let's see if you're onto something.
Year 3.
Seatbelt back in.
Buckle back in. Got to stay locked in here. Year 3. They go from 64th to 35th in scoring defense. It's another significant jump. They go from 26th in passing defense to 19th in passing defense.
Wow.
Now the rushing defense took a little step back. Still respectable, 66th. But still top 30 in total defense, 29th overall in total defense. So it's possible that this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I would say just by those statistics alone.
It seems likely that he knows what he's doing.
I'm not sure why people were upset.
He's also 43 years old.
Young man.
And to put a little cherry on
Matt
top.
Rule's deal, young, energetic coaches.
To put a cherry on top with people that are concerned about recruiting, and he hasn't put together a good recruiting staff. By the way, like 4 or 5 of these guys have spent time as recruiting coordinators, so they know what they're doing.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, they're not closers, blah, whatever. Okay. Being organized and being on top of things is more important in recruiting for the long term than it is being that salesman closer. Okay. If you have your ducks in a row, you're going to land more guys than by having one dynamic closer. The closer is nice to have, but you have to have all the other stuff too.
Right.
You have to get the lead before you bring the closer in.
You have to get the lead. You have to put in the legwork. And a lot of times, guys don't do that. This staff is going to do that. But if you're worried about the recruiting thing coming from Syracuse or coming from San Diego State, he was the 2-time Mountain West Recruiter of the Year at San Diego State. So it appears that A, he's very good at recruiting, and B, he's very good at coaching. That seems like somebody you would want on your staff, right?
And he kind of follows that Matt Rule of he's coached cornerbacks, linebackers, and was the defensive passing game coordinator at Arizona State. So he's done a lot of different.
He's done different
coaching
positions.
roles.
He's done different roles. He's got recruiting coordinator experience as well.
He kind of fits exactly what he wants to
He's
do.
young and energetic.
He's
basically fits the exact mold that Matt Rule has done with everybody. And He's also got a resume that shows really dramatic improvement on the defensive side of the ball at a Power 5 school.
Okay, so what were the lot of the responses yesterday?
It's because people didn't know who he was.
And people freaked out over a 3-3-5, even though it probably has more to do with who they were going up against in personnel.
Right.
And listen, he's probably he comes from a 3-3-5 school as a defensive coordinator. I think it's Rick Long is the guy's name who he learned under.
Mm-hmm.
And Rick Long kind of not invented, but innovated the 3-3-5 in late 80s, early 90s.
Rocky Long, yeah.
Rocky Long. Sorry, I don't know. Rick Rock. That was close.
Rick Ross.
Rick Ross.
I was thinking Rick Ross.
But he is probably going to run a 3-3-5 still. Like I don't think it's unique to his situation. But 3-3-5s are actually very versatile defenses.
Iowa State runs one and runs it well, and they
I
do
was
a lot of things with their 3-3-5.
Iowa State's defense was not the problem this year.
Yeah. And the last game, they were done. That has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, they kind of quit.
And people say, oh, well, you can't stop the run with the 3-man front. That's also just not accurate.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't you just bring a linebacker up to the line?
That's kind of the point, is you can.
I know. You have a lot of versatility.
And 3-3-5s, you can spin down into a 4-4 look really easily because of the versatility of your guys. It's an incredibly versatile defense, is the key. And listen, I'm not a defensive scheme expert, but I've actually dove into these things to try and figure out, hey, does this make sense? Is this a good fit? And people that I trust that know what they're talking about say, yeah, 3-3-5 is really good for stopping spreads, but it's incredibly versatile because it was invented to stop spreads. I'm not pretending like it wasn't, but it's incredibly versatile in that you can give a lot of different looks. You can bring pressure from a lot of different places. And if you have your personnel right, you can be really good at stopping the run. I mean, look at the run defense in 2021.
You can bring safeties up. You can do a lot of different things.
Run defense in 2021 was 28th in the country.
I mean, are people worried because like the personnel of their opponent's going to be bigger, and so they think with more speed that 3-3-5 brings?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
But think big picture. If UCLA coming into the league, you have a lot more teams in the league.
UCLA,
Wisconsin's going to go.
You have
more of a
USC.
spread.
Wisconsin just hired an air raid guy as their offensive coordinator. I still think that Oregon and Washington are coming into this league eventually. Now, maybe Tony White's got a head coaching job by that point, by the time that Oregon and Washington could come into the league. I don't know. That would be great because that means he did a great job here at Nebraska.
Right.
But the idea that a 3-3-5 can't stop the run is silly. Like if you're good at coaching and finding fits for your defense, you'll be good at stopping everything. Like I said, top 30 in rush defense in 2021 after they were 105th when he took over.
Which is really, really bad.
Really, really bad to really, really good. And guess what? It was a 3-3-5 while he was doing it. And before you say, oh, the ACC can't run, the ACC is actually a pretty good rushing conference. Florida State's one of the best rushing teams in the country, and they run really creative spread concepts in the run and power spread concepts in the run. There's some really good rushing teams in the ACC. The stats this year were comparable in terms of there were 5 top 50 teams in rushing in both the Big Ten and the ACC. Both of them had 5 top 50 rushing teams in the country. So I don't want to hear, oh, well, it's the ACC. They don't run the ball. Like, I get that a lot of people around here don't watch the ACC. That's fine, but you're wrong. Just sit it out for a second. Just sit it out for a second. It's okay.
Chill.
You don't have to have an opinion on Tony White before you figure anything out just because you didn't hear about him.
Right.
Or you've never heard of him, right?
Bishop made a great point yesterday also. If it's not working at times, they will change things around.
That helps.
That's called
the
coaching.
And also the versatility of the defense allows you to change it around. If you're in a 3-4, you are stuck in a 3-4.
Right.
Because your ends can't be anything else. Your outside linebackers could maybe be ends, but you're going to have a real hard time in the run game with outside linebackers playing defensive ends. Your defensive ends are too big to play traditional defensive ends, but they're too small to play a traditional D tackle. You're in a bad way if you're a 3-4 and you're not good because you can't fix it.
Right. And I think there's a lot more creativity that you can muster with a 3-3-5 because you have 5 players in the secondary that can basically give you a blitzing scheme.
And let's be honest, you've got 5 defensive backs on the field most times these days anyway.
Exactly.
This is not, let's not pretend like 90% of the time you're not in a nickel package anyway.
Yep. And Rule is clearly going after guys who have speed. I mean, that's why he went after that track athlete from Texas.
If you don't recruit speed, you chase
And one of his
exactly.
And one of his first offers in Nebraska was Jalen Lloyd from Westside, who's one of the fastest kids in the country.
Yep.
Also, he's actually better at jumping than he is sprinting. He's an incredible long jumper and triple jumper. So he's going after just these incredible athletes and says, hey, we can coach them up. And I know a lot of people get uncomfortable with that because the development at Nebraska has been so bad, but the development of Matt Rule has been very good.
Right.
Like, you have to separate those two things.
And I feel like it was so close to rock bottom in terms of development that it can only get better.
Yeah, like it would be really difficult to be worse at development with literally anyone else in charge.
You could put an AI program to developing players and it'd probably do a better job. At least it's not playing Golden Tee for how long.
The AI will not have a margarita problem.
Short circuit.
That we will get more into Tony White as we go along a little bit, and I want to preach a little bit of perspective here, and we'll do that coming up next. We're through hour number 1 already here on a Friday on 1620 The Zone.
Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill has been making your game day experience one to remember for 18 years with our award-winning char-buffed wings and $7.99 Monday through Friday lunch specials. But now your game day just got bigger and better with Oscar's newly upgraded audio-video system. Cheer on your favorite teams this season in front of a 22-foot LED video wall, showing up to 8 games at once, and of course, 40 TVs and massive dual projectors. Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and for takeout at 162nd and Maple.
He's back. Old Man Winter has arrived. If you notice the cold air leaking through your home's windows, give J-Tech Construction a call for a free estimate. Keep winter cold outdoors where it belongs. Let the official exterior experts of the Huskers, J-Tech Construction, upgrade you to triple pane replacement windows and start saving money on your energy bills. The cold doesn't have to mean higher heating costs. Get all the details by going to yourexteriorexperts.com. J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers. Your organization can't be its best unless all your team members are feeling their best. So when someone in your organization is facing a mental health challenge, it's important to know how to be there for them. Mental health first aid training can help. Learn the signs and symptoms of mental health or substance abuse challenges and prepare your team with an action plan to start those important conversations. Call 211 or visit UnitedWayMidlands.org to sign up for free group or individual training today.
Buy your next vehicle your way from anywhere with Woodhouse. Start your journey online at woodhouse.com. Easily shop all new and pre-owned inventory, explore payment options and apply for financing. Ready to purchase? Schedule your new vehicle for pickup from the dealership or have it delivered to your driveway. Need a little extra help in determining your perfect vehicle? Our knowledgeable and local dealerships can guide you to the vehicle that best matches your needs. Experience car buying your way with Woodhouse, a trusted auto partner since 1975.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring, starting wages up to $20.10 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply at the Holiday Inn Blair Monday through Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and the Florence City Hall Thursday and Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for on-the-spot interviews. Unable to attend? Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Go to babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
This is Scott Schultz from Host Coffee. 2022 marks our 50th year and business has never been better. We are rapidly growing and adding new customers, which means we need new route drivers and service technicians. We have new jobs for those new to the industry with little or no experience, and new careers that require knowledge in the coffee and vending world. There's a good chance we have just what you need in a new job. Host Coffee offers competitive pay and understands the work-life balance. Apply today at hostcoffee.net/careers and join our team.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call on the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect some significant delays from 149th to 120th along Industrial Road. Then on Dodge, things are slowing down just a little bit from 94th to 90th. And on Center, be prepared for some very minor slowdowns near 168th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More.
Hi, I'm Mark Evans, owner of Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More. Right now, we'll open your drain line for only $93 or it's free. Call for details or request service at justcallburton.com.
At Dingman's Collision Center, you voted them first place in Best in Omaha for the past 17 years. So they want to say thank you for choosing the Dingman family and their incredible technicians to repair your vehicles. At Dingman's, they'd rather be the best than apologize for anything less.
It's beginning to feel like winter, and 42 degrees has taken the chill off with deals like this. Let's start with our premium Kratom starting at $11.99. CBD starting at $9.99. Looking to try out our Delta products? We have them starting at $7.99. With the largest selection of pipes, vaporizers, candles, incense, a knowledgeable, professional, and friendly staff. Why shop anywhere else? 42 degrees by your mom's house.
From the creators of Kentucky Fried Chicken comes the Taste Good holiday event of the year, KFC's $5 Famous Bowl, starring crispy chicken, creamy mashed potatoes, gravy, corn, and everyone's favorite, melty cheese.
I'm in love with you, Famous Bowl.
Treat yourself to the bowl critics are calling a whole lot of food that even a Scrooge couldn't resist.
A humbug, that's tasty.
Gift yourself a KFC Famous Bowl for just $5, now on the app and at a Kentucky Fried Chicken near you. For a limited time, prices and participation may vary.
The Blue Jay Zone is brought to you by Barry Law. We're in it to win it. The Creighton men's soccer team will play for the school's first ever national championship in the College Cup. The path by the Jays has included many upsets over ranked teams, but head coach Johnny Torres does not see it as upset.
We've done enough all year long to understand that we can play with anybody in the country. The perception is that we're playing against teams that are better than us because they're ranked higher. That's not something that's not how we approach it. That's not how we look at it. We understand that we can play with anybody in the country, and at the end of the day, we're going to come out and play our game.
Your most important assets are your body, your mind, and your future. When those are jeopardized by an injury that isn't your fault, you need to fight back and regain your life. Barry Law has represented thousands of Nebraskans, protecting their rights and securing their futures. If you've been injured in an accident, add more firepower to your fight. Choose the injury attorneys at Barry Law to make that next step. Call Barry Law at 402-999-7777 or visit BarryLawFirm.com. At Barry Law, we fight alongside those who choose to fight back.
Here's a little Christmas tip. Never ask Santa for adult beverages. Seriously, can you imagine the legal implications of carrying quality, locally brewed Nebraska beer or cider while flying a sleigh? So if you want your family and friends to gift you some Nebraska brewed awesomeness, ask and ye shall receive. Your local Nebraska Brewers Guild wants you to know that local brewers are currently working on special seasonal brews to make your holiday get-togethers merry and bright. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild.
Creighton men's soccer is College Cup bound for the first time since 2012. The Blue Jays take on Syracuse in the semifinal round today, and kickoff from Cary, North Carolina is set for 5 p.m. on ESPNU. That's today, 5 p.m. on ESPNU.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Welcome back to the Ravi Lulla Experience here on 1620 The Zones in the morning. Alex Sindelar in here with me. Jimmy Chavez as well. We are through hour number 1 and a little bit.
And what an hour it was.
A phenomenal hour of radio. If you missed it, I would catch it on the radio replay. Just
it was, as the kids say, fun.
Lit, if you will.
It's litty.
It was 100.
It's 100 emoji.
It was fire emoji. No, really good stuff. We have encouraged Steve to go get a Rocket City Trash Pandas hat.
All right.
He sent me a screenshot here of they apparently have 155 different hats.
Awesome.
Whoa.
Morning, Steve.
That seems like too many.
No, that seems like the perfect amount for the mascot they've got.
Fair enough. That is totally fair. So we've been kind of having a Christmas decoration thread run through the last week or so. Don writes in or sends a picture in of 2 giant inflatable. We've got a Rudolph and a Claire, the girl reindeer. Are you familiar with the cartoon at all?
The only Clarice I knew was the one that Hannibal Lecter was.
Yeah,
and The Shining. That's
not The Shining.
That's
Silence
really
of the
cool.
Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs. It's not that Clarice.
Okay.
That would be a weird inflatable.
And it's not Clarissa who explained it all.
Yeah, I think it's her
Good
name
point,
is either
Jimmy.
Claire or Clarice. But they look like the size of the house, basically. They're the height of the house.
Whoa.
Very large reindeer in the front yard of Donnie's neighbor's house. So that's catching up on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. You can get at me at RA Lulla. You can get at him __ Sindelar. That's how you can get a hold of us. There is also an Equitable Bank inbox. We take banking personally, equitableonline.com. I don't have an email, so don't email us today.
No emails.
It's still sponsored. Thank you, Equitable Bank.
But if he had an email, that's what it would be.
Yeah, it would be on the Equitable Bank inbox, but no one has seen fit after 8 years to give me an email address. So here I am.
One day.
Probably not.
But if you want to send in like a regular letter.
I would say, Jimmy, you have an email, right, Jimmy?
I have an email.
What's your email?
It's just Jimmy at 1620thezone.com.
Jimmy with a Y.
But you're not going to get anything much.
Jimmy with a Y.
I can't even get ask us anything questions.
So let's stick with Twitters and the Los Hills Harley Davidson hotline.
Or yes, you can send a postcard.
Yeah, send a letter.
Carrier pigeon.
Yes.
Yeah. 402-951-1620. You could text us, but it's not going to get read until Connor gets here because nobody else knows how to use the text line. So
it's Connor, and then if Connor doesn't, then Josh has you.
There you go. That's how you get a hold. Hey, we have a phone call.
Beautiful.
I don't know if they want to talk to us or not. Last person that called just wanted to talk to Jimmy, which is understandable. It's a joy talking to Jimmy.
Well, to be fair, he was just trying to help the show and clarify.
Oh, with the Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah, it was Blaine Gabbert who kicked his ass.
He was a humble behind the scenes contributor, which we appreciate.
Shouts out, Pete. You're up early.
So I wanted to talk on the perspective or lack of perspective fans have had about the head coaching hires right now. So you're familiar with this on your website, buntsdunks.com.
Mm-hmm.
You preached last year when Creighton was overachieving maybe on their basketball season, that instead of being upset when they inevitably lost earlier in the tournament than you would expect because they were all freshmen or than you would want, that people need to have a little perspective. This group was going to be together for a little bit and that you should enjoy the ride.
Right.
I would like to make a similar request of Nebraska fans right now with Matt Rule and how he's putting his coaching staff together. Because first of all, okay, before we get into, sorry, the phone call just, yeah, I saw the phone call. we're going to take a break. Pause. We're pausing the perspective conversation.
Yeah, this is good.
Because Jeff lives in the home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if you are a hometown fan of the Trash Pandas, you will always go to the front of the line.
100%.
And I will stop whatever I am doing to talk to you on the radio. Jeff, how are you today?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. What do you have for me on the Trash Pandas?
Well, I live in Huntsville, which is the home of the Trash Pandas.
Okay.
And I just woke up and I turned on the stream because I was interested about the new defensive coordinator.
I promise we'll get to it.
And I heard you talk about the hats, and so I was calling to see, were you trying to get access to hats? Because, like I said, it's not a problem for me to go get something and get them to you since I live in Huntsville.
Ooh, so this is interesting because I have looked on the website. A lot of times my favorite ones are sold out on the website. Okay.
Well, I can give you my email address, and if you send me pictures of something you want, I can go look for it. I have access to Trash Pandas gear. Whoa. I'm just letting you know.
Okay, so Jeff, I'm gonna have you stay on the line. Jimmy, can you take his email address for me?
I will.
And then Jeff, I will email you. Okay.
That'll work.
All right, I'm gonna put you on hold. Stay on the line. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Can I put him on? There we go. Very happy I took that call.
It's amazing.
I now have a Trash Pandas gear guy. What more could I want?
I mean, honestly, if this is your last ever radio show,
worth it.
Yeah, it all paid off.
Yeah, I got a hookup.
Finally did.
I got a hookup to Trash Pandas gear, which is incredible. So thank you, Jeff. I'm not even being facetious. I'm actually very excited
It's
about
huge.
this. They've got the coolest logo in sports.
Look, I feel like if you go to any sporting event, or even if you're going out to dinner in Omaha,
mm-hmm.
and you see someone with a Trash Pandas hat on, you just have to assume that
they're an incredibly cool human being.
Well, it was because of you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I would like to think that's true.
And now I'm kind of thinking maybe the Trash Pandas owe you a little kickback.
I could be a Trash Pandas brand ambassador.
That's what I'm saying.
Could I be the first ever minor league baseball influencer?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Can we make this happen? Marty Cordero, I know you listen sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're awake right now.
Can we make this happen? I will be a minor league baseball brand ambassador.
Yeah, I mean, especially for the Storm Chasers. I feel like you'd be the perfect guy.
Let's do it. Let's figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get out there and shill a little gear.
Yeah.
This is great.
I love minor league baseball gear, by the way.
Well, and the minor league experience is so unique and so Americana.
Yes.
That I feel like you particularly like going to games and like not being a mascot, but just being Ravi.
A representative.
The cool guy.
An ambassador, if you will.
I mean, think of the ticket sales of you just saying, I really love the Omaha Storm Chasers based on someone just bought a Rocket City Pandas hat.
Probably.
Trash Pandas hat.
Yeah, Steve. Steve was looking on he was looking on the website.
Because of you. I mean, they would sell out Werner Park every night if you were just like, I think the Storm Chasers are rad.
Are super cool. This is my favorite hat. I'm not wearing my Storm Chasers hat today, but my favorite one, I've got the baby blue with the SC with the seams on it.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. I really like the black one with the gold.
It's really nice.
That's a cool one as well. They got some cool gear.
Yeah, Storm Chasers do.
And Marty, get at me. I'll help you shill some cool gear.
I'm pretty sure they have a lot of sales going on right now too.
I know they did for Black Friday.
Yep.
Are they still going on?
I think so. I think they got like a marketing campaign going where you can check them out on online.
It's a cold day,
Listen, Marty, I'll sell some Union Omaha stuff too if you want.
Yeah.
I'm a big soccer guy. People don't know this.
They beat that MLS team that one time.
They did.
Yeah, that was really cool.
They won their league championship.
Yep.
Listen, I'm a big soccer guy. People don't know this.
I didn't know that.
I like soccer a lot. I'm still very into the World Cup, even though US lost.
Mm-hmm.
I watch the Premier League pretty regularly.
Oh wow, okay, you're that big into it.
Yeah, I do. I wake up pretty early, and it's Saturdays and Sundays. It's also on like weekday afternoons, which I really like.
Yeah,
there's a lot of like Tuesday, Wednesday, weekday afternoon games. But yeah, I'm a Liverpool fan.
Huh?
Liverpool.
Yeah, I can't stand soccer.
What about Creighton men's soccer?
In the College
Cup.
I know, isn't that cool?
That is super cool.
That's where I'm at too.
We'll get
same and same.
We'll get to that in a little
bit. Go
bit.
them.
I'm gonna unpause the perspective conversation.
Okay, where were we?
So I would like to request some perspective, just a little step back on the Matt Rule coaching staff process. Because first of all, even the most educated college football fans, which I believe Nebraska has a lot of very educated college football fans. They go out of their way to be up on things that are going on and be aware of schemes and trends and things like that.
Well, I mean, you walk into the stadium and you are automatically one of college football's greatest fans.
It's a legally binding a contract that you are.
It says so in the ticket. If you ever look at the back of it, you can put that on a resume.
I should add that to all my bios on all my social.
But
because I've been to enough games there.
I genuinely believe that Nebraska football fans are more educated than your average football fan.
Yes.
I believe that is accurate. So this is not hating on Nebraska fans. I think that they do a really good job of keeping themselves informed with college football. But to even the most educated of football fans, assistant coaches in college football are largely anonymous.
Yes.
We know almost nothing about them. There's a handful that, especially if you're like, I'm talking about assistants that are not on the team you follow primarily. So you know your team really, really well, especially at Nebraska. If you're an assistant coach at Nebraska, you're a big deal.
Right.
Other places, that's not as true. Other places, it's just as true. But outside of the team that you follow primarily, assistant coaches at other places are mostly anonymous, with the exception of a handful that have risen to fame or are about to become head coaches. So, and this is especially true with position coaches. Sometimes we know coordinators. Even if we know the name of a position coach, there's really no way for us to know if they're good or not. The only thing we know is these recruiting rankings that, Rivals and ESPN and these other people put out that say this guy's the best recruiter in the country, or this guy's one of the best recruiters in the country. But again, that's only half of their job.
Right.
We have no idea if Elijah Robinson, I think he is a good coach. We have no idea if Elijah Robinson from Texas A&M is just the number one recruiter in the country, or if he's a good defensive line coach. We have no idea. I think he's a good defensive line coach, but I'm basing that on kind of just guessing and that people like him. Same
reputation.
It's
all reputation based.
It's with reputation. You don't even have the track record that you have with like a Mickey Joseph, who has put a lot of guys. Now, there's other things going on with Mickey now. We're not talking about that. But there's you can look at his track record of getting guys to the NFL and be like, okay, Mickey Joseph was probably a really, really good wide receiver coach.
Yes.
Brian Hartline at Ohio State puts a ton of dudes in the NFL, probably a really, really good wide receivers coach. I can't even point to the defensive linemen from Texas A&M that have been in the draft since Elijah Robinson took over. He might be a good defensive line coach. He might not be. I have no idea. And that's how most college position coach assistants are. There's no way to tell because you don't know what's being asked of them. You don't know if their philosophy matches up with the scheme. You don't know if their scheme matches up with the players they're able to get. There's so many variables here that are outside of their control that even if you've heard of these people, which let's be honest, most of them we have not, unless they have a connection to Nebraska, and that in and of itself does not qualify you for a job. I know we think it does, but it does not.
Well, and so it's like you find out if they're a good coach or not when they eventually get a promotion at a different school or a promotion within the same program.
Or if you're watching them at your program.
Right. I mean, Scott Frost, same thing. I mean, at Oregon, you were like, wow, this offense is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But Oregon's offense was good.
It had been good before him, and it was good after him.
Correct. And so
maybe it wasn't him.
So you just assumed, it was
he's part of it. Sure.
Yeah. And then you saw Frost move up those ranks and then eventually do what he did at Nebraska. And you're like,
not good.
You're like, uh-oh. He wasn't good, maybe even to begin with. Maybe he was being propped up by all the systems that he already had in place.
Or maybe he's a really good coordinator and a really bad head coach. We still don't totally know.
No.
And we just saw Scott Frost be a head coach for 5 years in our own backyard, and I still don't know if he's a good coordinator or not.
I have no idea.
He might be when removed from the head coaching roles are removed from him. He might go back and be a really good coordinator.
Right.
Because I think a lot of his run design concepts are really creative and really smart, but is that enough to be a good offensive coordinator, or did he just design a few good plays? I don't know.
Right. And so it's like all these new coaches that you're bringing in, you just have to kind of assume that because of their reputation, they're going to be good coaches.
And if they don't have a reputation, we assume they're bad coaches.
Right. And you have to see the systems that they come from.
Yes.
To properly understand, be able to gauge what their abilities are.
And so that's why I would like to ask for a little perspective here, because this is the job you hired Matt Rule to do.
Correct.
Because he's doing almost exactly what he did at Temple and Baylor in terms of assembling staff.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a method and he has stuck to it now at all 3 of his college head coaching stops. He departed from it in Carolina, hired guys that he had access to that he didn't have access to at Temple and Baylor, and it didn't work out for him. Is that the reason it didn't work out for him? I don't know, but it didn't work out for him. Okay. So he's going back to the thing that was successful at his college stops at Temple and Baylor, and now he's doing it at Nebraska. You hired him because he had a track record of rebuilding programs in college football. This is how he rebuilt football programs in college football. And now you want him to stop doing the thing that you hired him to do. That's what's happening right now.
Right.
Is he's building his staff almost the exact same way. It was successful at both previous stops in college football. That's why you hired him, because he'd been successful doing exactly what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And now you don't like what he's doing. Logically, it does not make a lot of sense.
It doesn't.
If you're in on the Matt Rule hire, you need to be in on the assistants until further notice.
Yeah. I mean,
if you're out on the Matt Rule hire, it's a different conversation.
Right. And it's one thing to be critical.
Sure.
But it's a completely different thing to be just pessimistic.
For the sake of it.
Which I don't blame Husker fans for being.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like PTSD here from the Scott Frost situation.
Yep.
Which is fair.
It is fair
very
because
fair.
there's a lot of trauma there. But I want to use an example from maybe a more relatable world to the rest of us, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I used to work for a company that was very profitable using a unique business model for the industry we were in.
Mm-hmm.
We were unusual in the way that we went about things, and it made us very profitable. That company was so profitable that it got purchased by a Fortune 500 company in the same industry. And once they completed that purchase of our company, I say our company, I worked there. I did not own it. I'm not rich in that.
Be bearing the lead.
I just want to make sure when I'm saying our, just because I worked there at the time that this happened. When they, upon completing the purchase of the company that I was working at, that was profitable because they used a very unique business model, and that's why they were purchased. The Fortune 500 company immediately started trying to change the business model that had made them profitable.
Right.
And so upon changing the business model, they became less profitable.
Mm-hmm.
And the Fortune 500 company was like, hey, why is this segment less profitable? Like, well, you changed the core thing that made us profitable.
Yep. I mean, you could kind of look at Solich to Callahan in a very similar way because you changed the formula.
Sure.
It's the same thing, but now it's different because they're running something differently, and now it's run under however they want to see it run.
Right.
And it didn't work.
And it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And so
if you just sprinkled in some fullback options,
little option
couple plays.
But Nebraska fans are basically doing the thing that the Fortune 500 company did to the company I worked for.
Right.
They said, hey, we want you because you did this very specific thing super well and it worked, and we like that it worked.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like how they got there, though.
Right.
And so Nebraska fans are saying, we want to hire Matt Rule because he's got a history of rebuilding programs, and we want Nebraska to be rebuilt. And then he gets there and he's like, all right, well, this is how I rebuilt it. And they're like, whoa. We don't like how that's going.
You didn't say that. 3-3-5, come on.
He became successful at Temple and Baylor using a specific formula.
Yep.
He got hired at Nebraska for being successful at Temple and Baylor.
Yes.
And to Trev's credit, Trev is not doing this. This is just fan perception.
Correct.
Trev is not tinkering and being like, you can't do it this way.
And if anything, he told Matt, do it the way you do it.
Yeah,
so that's what I want.
We want to be what Baylor was.
Yes, we want,
because we're a broken program.
Without the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to go through what Baylor went through to get to you.
No, exactly.
But like, we want the guy that Baylor hired. We want that formula.
No means no at Nebraska. So
like that's that's why, and I give credit to Trev for not tinkering there. But the fans are looking at Matt Rule and they're saying, yep, third year, we want double-digit wins. And Matt Rule's like, cool, let's do that. This is how I did it. And they're like, nope, don't like that. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
It doesn't.
Okay,
If you're
say
out
no,
on,
and there's other schools that are going to say yes.
if you're out on Rule to start, fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. That's a different conversation.
Yeah.
But if you are in on Rule, you can't be in on Rule and be like, I don't like how he's doing it. This is how he does it. He hasn't changed the method. This is how he has done it. This is how he's been successful. You need to be like, okay, I trust Rule. This is how it works.
Yeah, and also just, I know, in so many people in radio and media, especially in this state, have said, just give him a little time. Just wait it out. But this is exactly what Matt Rule does.
It is.
You have to wait.
You do.
It's not year one's not going to be great. Year two might be kind of iffy, but year three, you might actually start seeing the fruits of his labor.
And to be fair, I actually think year one here could be better than it was at Temple and Baylor because we're not coming from the same spots.
Right.
Nebraska, and listen, I know that Baylor was better than Nebraska had been, but the state of that, if you don't remember, I cannot emphasize how bad the state of that roster was with the defections and everything and the transfers out.
Yep.
And rightfully so, of that program made it after the outline.
Yep.
Like that, what he was starting from like near death penalty status.
Correct.
That's why they were 1-11, not because he has to go 1-11 before they get good. That's why they were 1-11.
Thank you, Jimmy.
I was like, what's happening here? I was very confused for a minute. But
if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.
No, I was just very confused. I like that was a good poll. But the state of the Baylor program was in such disarray when he took over that's why they went 1-11. Temple was on a pretty dramatic downhill slide under Adazio before he took over. And Temple's always kind of a razor's edge away from being 2-10.
Correct.
Like that's just kind of the nature of Temple football.
I mean, they always were for so long.
Right. And
in every sport, really.
And if you have even a little attrition, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yes.
Okay. Nebraska's not in that sense. I don't know if they're going to make a bowl game next year, but I don't think it's going to be 1-11 or 2-10. I think you're probably a realistic goal is somewhere between 4 and 6 wins, I think.
See, I think that Nebraska fans should just numb themselves and understand that,
Sure.
that next year might be really messy and it might be hard and it might be the worst season in Nebraska football history. But that doesn't mean better things are on the horizon.
I think a lot of it depends on what Casey Thompson does because that can Band-Aid over some things next year. I think it depends on like O'Shawn Mathis does. If he comes back, that really helps on the defensive side. I actually think the defense is not in bad shape next year.
No, I don't think so either.
I think they have a lot of guys coming back that contributed. I think obviously you lose Ernest Hausman, which is a problem, but you get probably 9 or 10 guys back that started at some point during the year and were pretty good.
Right.
The back end of that defense is pretty good. The back 7 is pretty good. And for a guy that wants to run a 3-3-5, all the group that he probably needs the most, those defensive backs, there's still 14 defensive backs on this roster, and at least half of them are pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
You've got some linebackers that you like coming back in Reimers and Gifford's kind of the nickel. You've got, depends on how you feel about Henrich. I know people are off and on about him. But you've got some linebackers that you don't hate. If you can get, Ty Robinson's going to be back. I believe Garrett Nelson's going to be back. You can get O'Shawn Mathis back. All of a sudden, you're not in bad shape on the defensive side of the ball. That's why I look at it and say, hey, it might be as bad as it was at Temple and Baylor in year one, but I don't know that it has to be.
Yeah, right. I don't think 1-11 will have, though John did say it perfectly yesterday. You can go 1-11, just beat Coach Prime. Fair. That's all John wants. I get it.
I do think the Coach Prime of it all is a kind of elephant in the room with the assistant coaches. Because of some of the people that he's brought in.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. If Willie Taggart was hired at Nebraska, I'd set a fire somewhere. I don't know where, and I'd make sure nobody was hurt.
Just let me know so I can be home.
But there would just be like a tiny bit of arson involved.
Small amount.
Just a tiny,
because when you commit arson, it's always very small.
You got to make it very small. I don't want
Fires
anybody
are easy to control.
I don't want anybody to get hurt.
Set like a little birdhouse without the birds in it.
Yeah, right.
Just like a pile of leaves or something.
Trash can with some brush.
I think the burn ban is out in Omaha. You can just burn a few leaves there. I would be upset if they had hired Willie Taggart. I experienced that. Have no desire for him to be a part of my life anymore.
What is he doing these days? What's Willie Taggart doing?
He is now on staff at Colorado.
Yeah.
Oh, he got hired?
Oh, yeah. He did.
Oh, man, I missed that. Uh-oh.
He did.
That's a problem.
He did. He did get hired.
What's Coach Prime doing?
I don't know.
Okay, cool.
Also,
But
like,
what a beautiful disaster it's going to be.
he brought in Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer's like in his mid-60s. He's a really good defensive coordinator, but is that guy going out on the road and recruiting for the first time in his life?
Wait, hold on.
The Mike Zimmer. Yes.
Okay,
that guy.
That's an issue. But wait, he hired Willie Taggart to do what exactly?
I don't even 100% know.
Okay.
He is an assistant.
Huh.
That's a
He's going to coach football.
Yeah. Huh is right.
Not well.
No, he's
I didn't
not.
say anything about well. I just said he's going to coach football.
He's not. And then people are like, oh, but he stole the co-defensive coordinator from Alabama. Guess what? If Nick Saban wanted to keep him, he would still be at Alabama. Nick Saban doesn't fire people. Nick Saban finds people new jobs.
Wait, okay, so hold on, time out. Did Coach Prime hire that guy from Kent State?
Yes, the head coach from Kent State.
Okay, so
and he's the offensive coordinator.
Okay, that may be
and that was a good hire.
Yeah, that's a fun hire.
I think that was a good hire. But I don't think we can act like, first of all,
but he's filling out his staff with
a bunch of like free agents.
Losers.
Well, yeah, let's say losers. The correct word is losers.
I won't call Mike Zimmer that.
No, but he's a guy in his mid-60s
Yes.
who has Mike Zimmer ever coached college football?
If it was long ago.
It was 30 plus years ago, if anything.
Hey, in the alternate timeline, he took the Nebraska job about 20 years ago.
Yeah, and
Almost
then
20
he'd be
years
very
ago.
qualified to be Deion's defensive coordinator now.
Because he'd be available.
He would be available, and he'd have some college coaching on his resume ever. I'm looking at, he's 66 years old.
Boulder's peaceful.
Which is the same.
that's fine.
No, it's a lovely place to retire.
It can smell wonderful on occasion.
It is
Boulder's gorgeous.
Also, the last time he coached in college was in 1989 to 1993 for Washington State. It's been 30 years.
What was he thinking?
Listen, it's possible college football has changed a bit since 1993.
Nope, same game.
Washington State.
It's the same game.
A few more
Ravi.
games
Now,
on TV.
to
now.
be fair, they did have Drew Bledsoe, I believe.
Yes, they did.
93 Washington State's
Yeah.
Drew Bledsoe.
92 was a senior year, so yes.
Yeah. So, good for him, I guess. That was 30 years ago, the last time he even sniffed college
Yeah,
football.
he got on staff there right after Dennis Erickson left there for Miami.
It's possible there might be a bit of a learning curve that a 66-year-old man may not be super eager to tackle. So
I can't believe he made that hire.
can we maybe pump the brakes on Mike Zimmer being a home run at Colorado?
No, that's a dud. And with Taggart,
With Taggart and then the co-defensive coordinator that Saban was trying to get rid of.
Oh.
Here's what happens with Saban, if you don't know, okay? If you don't get Saban doesn't fire people. You get a different job. You can tell how he feels about you by the type of job that you get.
yes.
He'll make a call on your behalf.
If you get a really good Power 5 job or you get a head coaching job, he liked you.
Yes.
And you were doing good at Alabama.
And he made the proper connections and called the proper channels in order to get you that job.
Because if Nick Saban calls someone, they listen.
Oh, he'll still call to get rid of you. It'd
Yes,
just be,
but he's going
Yes.
Colorado coming from Alabama,
he's a good guy.
not Georgia or getting you a head coaching job somewhere.
Yeah, you'll like him.
Because the co-defensive coordinator at Alabama should not become the defensive coordinator at Colorado. He should become the head coach at Colorado.
That's correct.
And so I know people are like, oh, well, why couldn't we get the co-defensive coordinator from Alabama? Because he wasn't good.
Because Nick Saban didn't like him.
I get he's from Alabama, so you're like, oh, he's got to be good.
That's how you sell it.
Here's the deal. That's not how it works.
Nope.
I mean, people were losing their, and let's use this for perspective here, because I can go at Alabama 1-to-1. I was talking about possibly Bill O'Brien
Yes.
as a head coaching candidate, offensive coordinator candidate, whoever. And people were like, no, they hate him down there. He's not good. Guess what? He was better at his job than the co-defensive coordinator was at his.
Yep.
So just being at Alabama, you've already established, does not mean everything. So maybe let's chill on, he's the co-defensive coordinator at Alabama. He's got to be good. No. If you go from co-defensive coordinator at Alabama to defensive coordinator at Colorado, Nick Saban got rid of you.
Yes, he booted you out.
He dumped you.
Yep. But he made the proper call to say, like, this guy worked for me. I guess you can have him.
He got Carl Pelini'd.
Yes, he picked. Yeah.
Excellent way to tie it back.
He was like, listen, we cannot have you here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to fire you because Bo will never fire his brother.
Correct.
But we have to get you to land somewhere because you can no longer be here. That's basically what happens if you're a assistant at Alabama and Saban doesn't want you anymore.
Yeah.
He's too classy to fire people.
He'll find you a program to shove you into.
Yeah, he will just get you out of his face and into a place that does not matter. That's why the co-defensive coordinator at Alabama is now at Colorado. Not because he was this hotshot candidate that, Nebraska should have had. Hard pass.
Brutal.
You know who the hotshot candidate that Nebraska should have had is? The guy they freaking hired.
Yep.
Tony White.
Yep.
That dude is awesome at his job.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean 100% it's going to work at Nebraska because nothing is guaranteed, but they didn't miss on the hire.
No, I think they got the perfect hire.
I agree. I'm glad we agree there. But perspective, people.
Get it.
That's the takeaway. Little bit of perspective. Also, go get a Rocket City Trash Pandas hat. We've got Brett Ciancia. Oh, I'm late on Brett Ciancia from Pick Six Previews. We'll get him coming up next here on the morning show on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. The Connor Happer Show.
Connie Mack only won 9 pennants in his 55 years as a manager. What a bum.
Could you imagine sports radio in the time of Connie Mack? Boy, I tell you, this Connie Mack guy just can't get it done. Can't win the big one. Can't get over the hump. Only 5 World Series. Connie Mack, more like Connie Hack, am I right?
That's exactly how they talked.
The Connor Happer Show. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Staying cool and cloudy on Friday. Watch out for damp roads and possible fog early. Otherwise, expect mostly cloudy skies. A little breezy at times with northwest winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Highs around 38. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burden, AC, heating, plumbing, and more. Time-saving traffic center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect some minor delays from 149th to 144th along Industrial Road. Then on Highway 370, be prepared for a little bit of slowdown from Richland Drive all the way to 84th. And on Center, it looks like things are slowing down just a little bit from 192nd to 168th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
What does Saul's loan on? Almost everything, like jewelry, gold chains, bracelets, earrings, wedding rings, and high-end watches, guns, electronics, $10 to $50,000, super fast and easy with no credit check. Saul's loans on almost everything.
Email unsportsmanlike conduct on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox with whatever is on your mind, from your hot takes to what you think is one. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
If you love attending events like I do, there's no better tool for you than the Tickets for Less app. This free Tickets for Less app puts all of your area's top events in one place, or you can simply search for the event you want right on the home screen. And for a limited time, if you download the app and you register, you're going to receive a special discount sent directly to your phone when you download the app and create a free account. If you're looking to lock in your seats for a big concert or sporting event this holiday season, all you have to do, download the Tickets for Less app and save big today.
Duck Defense Midwest makes your home healthier and improves the life of your HVAC system. So improve the health of your home and everyone in it. Go to cleanairradio.com for a special duct cleaning offer for Zone listeners. That's cleanairradio.com.
T-Mobile says they offer home internet. But if their internet comes from a cell phone network, you should know. It's just phone internet, not home internet. Keep your home up to speed with Cox. Cox internet is faster and has more reliable download speeds than T-Mobile 5G home internet. Cox is the real home internet you're looking for. based on Cox analysis of Ookla speed test intelligence data Q3 2022 and Cox serviceable areas. Visit cox.com/internet for details.
It's time to save during 42 Degrees winter sale with savings on premium kratom starting at $11.99, Delta from $7.99, and CBD starting at $9.99. Only at the Source. 42 Degrees. By your mom's house.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring, starting wages up to $20.10 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply at the Holiday Inn Blair Monday through Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and the Florence City Hall Thursday and Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for on-the-spot interviews. Unable to attend? Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
Having a hard time finding the perfect gift for someone? Do they eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner? If so, a gift card for Bailey's Breakfast and Lunch, Shuck's Fish House, and Absolutely Fresh Seafood Market is the way to go. Order online at absolutelyfresh.com and have one mailed or emailed to the recipient of your choice.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. 1620 The Zone.
Welcome back. The morning show here on 1620 The Zone. Ravi, Lulla, Alex Sindelar in with you. Jimmy Chavez as well. And we are joined now by our friend Brett Ciancia from Pick 6 Previews. Brett, I'm sorry we're a little late today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to talk. We got coaching carousel happening. I'll be covering Army-Navy tomorrow in Philadelphia. And then we have the Heisman coming. So we still have some stuff on the schedule here. It's not a normal college football Saturday, but we still have some events going on.
Yeah, so I want to start with coaching hires. I know you put it out on Twitter. People can follow you at Pick 6 Previews. You seem very high on the Tony White as a hire for Nebraska's defensive coordinator. What are your thoughts on him, on the fit, and kind of what he did at Syracuse as DC?
Yeah, absolutely. Congrats, Nebraska, on, I think, a great defensive coordinator hire. Tony White, this is the guy I got to interview the last couple of seasons for my college football preview book, Preview Magazine. And, yeah, with Coach White, he runs a 3-3-5 scheme. I'm sure you've been talking about this today and yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
The 3-3-5, it's a little bit of a unique touch. It's a curveball to opposing offenses and coordinators. It kind of trades a little bit of size for speed to get more speed on the field. So I'm interested to see how that translates, though, to the Big Ten West, because in the ACC you have a lot more spread offenses that you're going against, and here in the Big Ten West, a lot more rugged, a lot more tight end, double tight. So we'll see. But he's a great coordinator. He can evolve if he has to. He turned Syracuse around. It was one of the biggest defensive turnarounds year to year that I covered, and I cover all Power 5 teams. I mean, they were one of the worst defenses in the country before he took over. Back-to-back top 25 seasons. According to my per play metrics. So great hire. And I really want to see him go against Phil Longo, one of my favorite offensive coordinators who got picked up by Wisconsin. So the chess game is already happening in the Big Ten West.
So how surprised are you? You mentioned Phil Longo. That seems like a total direction change for Wisconsin.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, Wisconsin for the last quarter century has been your typical Big Ten offense, and I say that in a good way. They were really the standard. I mean, they were offensive line two, running back two, produced a couple of Heisman winners and finalists, and rushing champs. And so when you think of the old Wisconsin, the Alvarez, Bielema, and Chris Wisconsin, this offense is going to look completely different with Phil Longo. It's up tempo, it's super spread. I mean, it's kind of like Tennessee, spreading sideline to sideline. You've seen their quarterbacks have been dynamic the last couple of cycles at UNC, where he coached. Sam Howell, and then this year Drake May, and you got to credit him there because they had a three-man quarterback race this spring, and he made the right choice with Drake May, a freshman, over a couple more experienced guys. With Coach Longo, one of the best in the game, one of only two programs the last 4 years to go top 5 in my numbers every single season on offense. It's only his UNC offense and then Ohio State. So he's done it year after year.
So I wanted to ask you, because we've been talking a lot about assistant coaches here in Nebraska, obviously the last week and a half. How do you approach evaluating assistant coaches, especially position coaches, where it's not always totally clear what their responsibilities are and things like that? Is there a way that you've been able to break any of that down analytically, or do you kind of just have to trust the numbers that the team at large puts up and go from there?
Yeah, position coaches are probably harder to evaluate from a numbers perspective. Certain position groups, they kind of overlap. I mean, I have some good offensive line numbers, with run push or with pass protection. But remember, the part of that comes down to the quarterback, too. I mean, if the guy's holding the ball for 10 seconds, you could be the best offensive line and pass pro in the country.
Right.
But so a lot of these overlap. With run push, I mean, you can kind of narrow it down to within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage, but you still need a dynamic back to move the ball. So, I try and look at some positional stats that I have. Overall, though, I think you have to just go off the overall offense and trust the coordinator to make his own hires or the head coach to make his coordinator hires. It kind of goes down that way. So one other thing to look at is a little bit of recruiting. The position coaches are grinders in the recruiting game, even more so than the head coach. So look at some of their recent success or failures on the recruiting trail, that kind of thing.
Brett, I kind of want to ask you about what's going on with Cincinnati and Louisville, with Satterfield leaving Louisville to go to Cincinnati. How have you kind of perceived that move, and what does that mean? I mean, as far as like how Louisville is perceived, I guess, nationally, and how Cincinnati is now being looked at, because it seems like it's just such a strange lateral move.
Yeah, that one caught my eye, definitely, especially because that's quite a rivalry. They play for the old Keg of Nails trophy there, and, it's been kind of a dormant rivalry since the conference changes, but this certainly spiked it back up. I mean, you go and poach another program's coach. Now, some context here, I mean, I don't want to speak for Louisville fans, but just from talking to them, listening to their podcasts and radio shows, they were kind of over the Satterfield hire. They were ready for a change. They had been for a couple of seasons. I mean, this year was okay win-loss record-wise, but they were wanting Coach Brown to come home for probably 5+ years by now. I mean, ever since he had the slightest bit of success at Purdue, I think it was 2016 or 17, they were wanting him to come home. And I know that sounds like Nebraska with Scott Frost, but similar passion. Think back 6 years ago for Nebraska fans, you wanted to bring your native son home, your old quarterback home. So I think he's excited to get back to where he played ball and probably bring a lot of his staff with him. And they had a lot of success at Purdue. So. What's the perception for both? I think Cincinnati's perception takes a hit forward, going up because they're moving up to the Big 12. They're a Power 5 program now. They're going to have Power 5 money, and same with Louisville being in the ACC. So I think they're both set going forward.
Brett, I know you mentioned you're covering Army Navy this weekend. Have you been out there before? What's that whole atmosphere like? Because that's a kind of totally different world in college football.
I told him I'm envious.
Yeah. So it's a great honor to cover it. It's I'm based out of Eastern Pennsylvania, so this is one of the only big college football events we get every year. Historically, the Army-Navy game takes place in Philadelphia as a natural halfway point between the two service academies. I think it's the 90th playing here in Philly, and the other 30 matchups have been scattered across the East Coast. So it's going to be my third time covering it. Again, it's such an honor to be down there. Outside of football, it really humbles you a little bit with all the military stuff, the flyovers, the tanks, and the service videos that the Spirit videos that come on the screen on commercial breaks. It really puts into perspective that it's bigger than football, right? But and then when we're talking actual football, though, the X's and O's of it, I love that. It's old triple option football. I'm sure some Husker fans can identify with that. It's kind of the stuff you see at the high school level still, with some flex bone and a lot of triple. Some midline options, so it's great. I love it. You see some unique uniforms. You get to see all the service academies march on the field, thousands of them. So yeah, it's a cool experience. I recommend anybody to get down to it. Now the catch is that this is the last time Philly's hosting it for some 6 years. So I wanted to make sure I hit it here in 2022 because it's going to travel a little bit the game. So.
Brett, I wanted to ask you about Jeff Monken. I know you primarily cover the Power 5. But this kind of ties in with my question. I know it's a really unique system that is mostly just run at the service academies now, but are you surprised at all that somebody hasn't taken a chance, maybe even like a Stanford, on a guy like Jeff Monken, where they've got some limitations that he might be more used to navigating something like that than somebody else? Because I actually think Jeff Monken's a really good football coach, and I kind of wish he would get a shot.
Yeah, no, that's that name has come up in a lot of the coaching searches, and it is a pretty big program shift though, because you need to really build to that specific offense. You're not going to, it's a different kind of recruit you're looking for, a different kind of system. So I think that you're right that it is programs that might be limited otherwise. I think of your academic powers like Stanford, Duke, Georgia Tech. I mean, Georgia Tech has recently ran it with Paul Johnson, had some great success, more success than they've had since. So
Orange Bowl
that's kind of
champions.
your proof there that it could work. Yes. A couple 10-win seasons. I mean, other schools that had struggled historically, like Vandy, I thought might take a shot at it. Use it as a talent neutralizer.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It really can close the talent gap a little bit when you out-scheme somebody. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess these programs aren't ready to take the leap because it is a multi-year decision. It's going to take years to build out of it if you do leave a triple option.
Brett, who's kind of your favorite as far as who's going to get the Heisman Trophy this year? I know you're a voter. Who are you kind of looking at, and what's your best bet?
Yeah, well, with the Heisman here, I'm not allowed to say my pick, but I mean, I will say that there's 4 really capable candidates here. I will say that one of my candidates didn't make New York City, so that was a little bit disappointing. I wish that you would have taken the voters would have taken more of the season into scope. I mean, I think a lot of voters get captured in the moment there in early December or late November and think, oh, what are they doing now? But Hendon Hooker, really, I mean, for the first 10 weeks, by far number one, or at least 1A, 1B was C.J. Stroud. And yeah, he got injured in the second to last game and didn't play against Vandy. But he would have put 6 touchdowns on Vandy anyway. So, okay, he missed a stat game. Sorry. But no, I think that there's 4 really strong candidates here. I think real quick to rattle them off with Stetson Bennett, you have more of a career aspect here. You have a national champion walk-on, 33-1, just really the engine that makes Georgia's offense go. With Caleb Williams, a dynamic athlete, he's really evasive and elusive in the pocket. He can evade the rush. Make any throw. C.J. Stroud, when you watch him, I mean, his precision, just the way that he can fit the ball in tiny places, get the ball to his 5-star receivers, incredible. And then Max Duggan, really the overall warrior. I mean, this guy I really like. He's always been strong runner for them last 4 years and battled through some injuries, some quarterback battles. I like that he's hunkered down at the same school and stayed committed there. You don't see that anymore, and really just wills his team to victory. So he's a special player.
So, Brett, I don't want you to betray anything that you're not allowed to say here, but I'm curious as to a little bit of your process. I know you're a very analytics-oriented guy, but the Heisman seems to kind of be a storyline award a little bit as well. Do you weigh those things at all? Do you go strictly, numbers? What's your process there? Because, like, the Max Duggan story or the Stetson Bennett story are really, really interesting, whereas, like, C.J. Stroud kind of seems like the boring guy in the group. In terms of he's awesome, but maybe not the most interesting story in terms of his path here. Do you weigh those things at all, or you kind of just do strictly by the numbers?
Yeah, I take a holistic approach, definitely. I think that what makes me a little bit different is most of the Heisman voters, they're beat writers. They cover one specific team or a conference or a region. I'm one of the rare national guys. I mean, I'm doing all 66 Power 5 teams. So every Saturday is really my research when you think of it that way. I have 4 TVs going for 14 hours. I have eyes on, 10 to 20 games every Saturday. I'm trying to see everything I can. Then I'm watching condensed games throughout the week and catching up. So I feel like I do my research all throughout the season. Some guys start to emerge for me. I cast a wide net. I don't really follow what the ESPN straw poll is saying or what the Vegas odds are. I do it my own way and then kind of whittle it down to 10 guys to 5 guys. But yeah, I look at the tapes. I look at condensed highlight reels. I do look at numbers. Numbers are important too. They're not everything, but they're important. I mean, you want to look at win-loss record for quarterbacks especially. But really, to me, I mean, it's kind of abstract, but what did they do in their biggest moments? When we look back on 2022 season, like, what are we going to really remember? What stood out? What was, like, the biggest moment? Again, I'll go back to Hendon Hooker there. I mean, that Alabama performance, coming off of a 3-game stretch, blowing out LSU, beating Florida, that was an emotional win for them, and then to go and have that Alabama performance, like, that's the kind of thing. That stands out to me more than C.J. Stroud putting up 5 touchdowns on Rutgers, But
for sure,
no, it's a holistic deal. I try and look at everything. You know me, I'm pretty obsessive with it, and look at every number possible. I look at their numbers against ranked teams, their numbers in November, October, everything. So, yeah.
That's why I'm glad you have a vote, Brett, because I know you do take it seriously. And there's people of a certain age, like the Heisman Trophy was a really big deal to me when I was growing up. You watch the broadcast on ESPN and the whole thing. And so I'm glad that you take it as seriously as you do, because you get the indication there's a lot of voters out there that maybe not everybody is as locked in. Another thing I know you take super seriously is your playoff predictions. I just want to give you a chance here. How did you do this year? I know the last 5 years you've done really, really well. Been basically the best playoff predictor in the country the last 5 years. How did you do this year versus how it turned out?
Yeah, well, first off, thanks for the Heisman deal. Again, it is such an honor to me, so I'm glad that is reflected there. For the playoff, yeah, so we're graded on our playoff, but then also our conference standings prediction. So the conference standings numbers will be coming out in a couple of weeks. I'm projected pretty high again. I don't want to spoil it, but we'll see how that turns out. I feel pretty good about it. Playoff-wise, as boring as this answer is, we all tied. All the preseason magazines. It was 3 teams that were consensus. Everybody, all the magazines, publications had Bama, Georgia, Ohio State. So out of those 3 teams, we all hit 2 of them. The last spot that was variable was the 4 spot, and I had Utah, and all the other books had Clemson. So we ended up all picking a conference champ. It's just that our conference champs had multiple losses. So Utah and Clemson picks out there. We all missed on that one. So nobody saw TCU coming. That was the biggest surprise.
I think that's fair.
They were, they were consensus 7th, not nationally 7th in the Big 10 or Big 12. So
wow,
hats off to them. But yeah, we all tied. As boring as that is with the playoff out of 4, we all had 2 of them.
Well, I will say I liked your Utah pick at the time. I still do. They were a razor's edge away from kind of being in that conversation as a one-loss Pac-12 champion. So I like that pick. I think I'm obsessed with Kyle Whittingham from some of our conversations on here. So I really like that pick. Obviously, unfortunately, it didn't work out, but seems like he had another great year. We'll look forward to those conference standings coming out. And Brett, we appreciate your time as always. Enjoy the Army-Navy game.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's a true honor to cover it. I'll be tweeting out some pics and videos, hopefully. And thanks for having me, guys. And hopefully we get to connect over the off season too. I don't want to go away here. I love you guys doing the show. Love all the listeners. So thanks for supporting Pick 6 Previews.
Absolutely, Brett. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, see ya.
That is Brett Ciancia from Pick 6 Previews.
It almost made me sad. I was like, I don't want Brett to go. I don't want to be his last segment. We
One
still have stuff to talk about.
One of my favorite college football guests. He does such a good job. You can follow him on Twitter at Pick 6 Previews. He doesn't ask us to say this, but I buy his preview every year. He doesn't comp me or anything.
The Trash Pandas do.
The Trash Pandas, we're still working on a deal there.
And I do got an email for you when we get it.
Awesome. Perfect. But the amount of work that he does, and he covers the Power 5 as well as anybody, especially if you like the metrics and things like that. He's really, really good at that. So
he's a grinder. Trev Alberts would hire him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's a one-man show over there.
Yeah.
He does all of this by himself. The work ethic is incredible. And
I just feel lazy all of a sudden.
The product is incredible.
Suck.
He puts out an incredible product. So really enjoy Brett. Would love to talk to him more. And because there's always fun stuff going on in the off season.
It's Nebraska. I mean, we spent 2 hours talking about an O-line coach the other day.
That's true. We did.
Yeah.
2 full hours.
It's Nebraska. College football always on the mind.
It's a universal topic.
Front of the brain.
Always.
There's that worm.
100.
That's why I feel more at home here than where I came
other
from.
places. 100% of the time. Speaking of college football, one of the things that has made it even more fun is transfer portal day, where everybody just starts pouring into the transfer portal like they did on Monday. I have some ideas. I'd like to make it even more fun.
Let's do it.
We'll do that and more coming up next here on 1620 The Zone.
It's an NFL doubleheader on Sports USA. And first, we're in the Empire State as Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills host Garrett Wilson and the high-flying New York Jets. Then we head to the Rockies as Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs try to wrangle the Denver Broncos with Russell Wilson and Jared Jeudy.
Steps around one defender and goes into the end zone. Touchdown, Denver.
It's the Jets at the Bills, then the Chiefs at the Broncos. This Sunday on Sports USA.
If it's the NFL, it's on 1620 The Zone.
Here's a little Christmas tip. Never ask Santa for adult beverages. Seriously, can you imagine the legal implications of carrying quality, locally brewed Nebraska beer or cider while flying a sleigh? So if you want your family and friends to gift you some Nebraska brewed awesomeness, ask and ye shall receive. Your local Nebraska Brewers Guild wants you to know that local brewers are currently working on special seasonal brews to make your holiday get-togethers merry and bright. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild.
Last year, I enrolled my family for health care coverage through the health insurance marketplace. Do I need to enroll again?
Yes, we have seen the plans available through the marketplace change, and new options may be available. You must re-enroll for 2023 to ensure you or your family are in the right plan for your budget and needs. One World Community Health Centers in Omaha can help. Just call 402-502-8888 to set up an appointment with a team member.
I don't have health coverage, and I'm worried that if I get sick, I can't afford the medical bills. How do I get started?
Getting started is easy and free. Just call to set up an appointment with a Navigator enrollment specialist. We will explain your coverage options, answer any questions, help you enroll, and see if you qualify for financial assistance. Open enrollment is November 1st through January 15th. Re-enroll in healthcare coverage or enroll for the first time. Call One World Community Health Centers at 402-502-8888 to set up an appointment.
Your Omaha hockey team is back on the road, heading to Colorado College to take on the Tigers this weekend. Pregame is at 8 p.m. tonight. Puck drops at 8:30. It's UNO at Colorado College tonight on your home for Maverick Hockey. News Talk 1290.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
Frank's Pizzeria in Omaha favorite is this week's half-off deal. You'll receive two $20 gift vouchers, a value of $40 for just $20. Frank's Pizzeria is Omaha's home for true New York pizza, calzones, stromboli, pasta, sandwiches, salads, and desserts, now with 2 locations.
Zone Deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
We're 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. Yep, we're called 1 Hour because we promise to arrive at your home within the hour that you select. They don't call us sometime between 10 and 6 Heating and Air Conditioning or before Tuesday Heating and Air. We're not maybe next week we'll fix your AC or we'll get to it between now and August AC repair. Nope, we're 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. And we're
always on time or you don't pay time.
Call 402-333-5000 for a free duct cleaning every time we seal your duct work. Each location independently owned and operated. Licensed in their respective state or county.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burden, AC, heating, plumbing, and more. Time-saving traffic center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect some significant delays from 84th to 72nd along Highway 370. Then along westbound I-680, be prepared for some slowdowns from Pacific to Dodge. And on Center, it looks like things are slowing down just a bit from 192nd all the way to 160th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by IBEW Local 22.
Does great pay, fully funded medical benefits, and a solid retirement sound good to you? IBEW has immediate openings for journeyman electricians. Invest in yourself with IBEW Local 22. Call Bob at 402-980-7596.
This is Darcy with Dingman's Collision Center. We have run our business for years by helping the vehicle owner retain the value of their vehicle by working for them with warranted, safe, high-standard repairs. For this reason, Omaha vehicle owners have chosen Dingman's to repair their vehicles. Your loyalty has been shown through repeat business and amazing referrals. You've also voted us first place Best of Omaha for the past 17 years. We want to say thank you for choosing the Dingman family and our incredible technicians to repair your vehicles. At Dingman's, we'd rather be the best than apologize for anything less.
Hello, friends. Kent Pavelka wishing everyone happy holidays and best wishes for the new year from John Higgins Weather Guard. You know, we're fortunate to live in such a great community with a strong economy, good schools, and public service, along with a high level of health care and simply a great way of life. We appreciate everyone who's done business with us, and we look forward to meeting new customers in the new year. Happy holidays from your fans, the rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard, America's leading installer of Da Vinci roofs.
The Blue Jay Zone is brought to you by Barry Law. We're in it to win it. The Creighton men's soccer team will play for the school's first ever national championship in the College Cup. The path by the Jays has included many upsets over ranked teams, but head coach Johnny Torres does not see it as upset.
We've done enough all year long to understand that we can play with anybody in the country. The perception is that we're playing against teams that are better than us because they're ranked higher. That's not something that's not how we approach it. That's not how we look at it. We understand that we can play with anybody in the country, and at the end of the day, we're going to come out and play our game.
Your most important assets are your body, your mind, and your future. When those are jeopardized by an injury that isn't your fault, you need to fight back and regain your life. Barry Law has represented thousands of Nebraskans, protecting their rights and securing their futures. If you've been injured in an accident, add more firepower to your fight. Choose the injury attorneys at Barry Law to make that next step. Call Barry Law at 402-999-7777 or visit BarryLawFirm.com. At Barry Law, we fight alongside those who choose to fight back.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Chappell here, serial entrepreneur. I started my first business in a dingy basement of a factory in 1986. Instead of customers, my visitors were rats, birds, flies, and snakes. To psych myself up that I was going to succeed, I wore formal business attire and a tie to that lonely factory basement every day. I was a total type A business geek, crunching spreadsheets for my accounting. Today, my fifth successful business, Patriot Software, makes accounting simple for accountants and non-accountants alike, eliminating the need for many of us business geeks to crunch spreadsheets or wear formal business attire ever again. Go to PatriotSoftware.com. Use promo code RADIO and get 2 months of accounting software free. That's PatriotSoftware.com.
Accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Creighton men's soccer is College Cup bound for the first time since 2012. The Blue Jays take on Syracuse in the semifinal round today, and kickoff from Cary, North Carolina is set for 5 p.m. on ESPNU. That's today, 5 p.m. on ESPNU.
Holiday shopping? Backed by popular demand, stop by Cops at 72nd and Jones, Shadow Lake Town Center, or 180th and Center to grab a bite and buy a gift card. Cops gift cards are sure to please. Cops makes delicious pizza, fresh salad, and tasty charred wings with a variety of homemade sauces. They even offer keto crusts. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. Cops, now with 3 convenient locations to serve you. 72nd and Jones, the Shadow Lake Town Center, 180th and Center, or click copspizza.com.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Halftime on the Ravi Lulla Experience, brought to you by Heart Cigars and Pipes Lounge, just off 680 and 48th Street, next to Cubby's. It's Heart Cigars and Pipes Lounge.
Welcome back. Ravi Lulla here, Alex Sindelar with me. Jimmy Chavez was the voice you heard there, his very, very professional radio voice, giving you the halftime spiel. We're a little over halftime. We're like all-star break of halftime, right? All-star break's a little past the halfway point.
Yeah, I feel like we've scored
had
95 points in the first half.
We've had a lot of reviews, long commercials, couple injuries.
A lot of stoppage time. Of stoppage time. World Cup's on. I'm going to go soccer. A lot of stoppage time.
Yeah, there you go.
We got it all covered. Playoff baseball, 4 hours, 6 innings.
So I'm going to get to some things here, but I have to get to our JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed because, and I don't.
Thanks for the emails, by the way.
Yeah, thank you for the emails. On the Equitable Bank inbox. So Angelo hits me up on Twitter, and I don't totally know where this came from, but I'm glad that somehow he was inspired to ask this question. So I'm going to ask you this question, Alex.
Ask away.
How much in name, image, and likeness money
Notre Dame fan
would Jesus get? This is not a me question. This is Angelo. I'm engaging with the people. This is not my fault.
And as we know, he can hit a curveball.
That's true.
You telling me Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?
Okay, well, this depends.
Joe Boo hit straight ball very well.
What sport is Jesus playing?
So that's a really good question.
Because if
he can hit a curveball, okay, I got you.
This is a good question. I assumed football.
See, if it's swimming, I'm picking Jesus.
Well, I'd just be running on top of the water.
Correct.
In which case,
take that.
It would make a ton of money.
Yeah.
Because people would be like, "What are we watching here?" And then he could turn the pool into wine for the after party.
Well, he could turn the pool into wine for the other swimmers. And so when
they get drunk, while they're swimming, but I don't think he needs to cheat.
No.
So you'd wait for after turning it into
wine. He goes
into
the SEC,
right?
But I was assuming football just because that's where most of the NIL money is.
Yeah,
I suppose you could go any sport. I think location matters more than sport.
I think so too.
Like if Jesus Christ is at the University of Notre Dame, buku NIL money.
And if he doesn't get in, if Notre Dame doesn't recruit him, I mean, what a failure.
He's
by
like,
that
guys,
staff. Like,
I'm
really?
on one of your buildings.
Right.
How did he end up at Michigan State?
There's me.
Like, come on, guys. You really Jesus is the ultimate in-state recruit for Notre Dame.
I would say so. Yeah.
Like you can't let him get away.
Well, Bethlehem U hasn't won in a while, so still.
Now I don't know.
BC would be in the not Brian Christopherson, but
Boston
Brian
College.
I'm Boston College.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of the other prominent, but still, Notre Dame is a different class than BC.
Yes.
Let's be real here. Now I wonder if there'd be some eligibility issues with the transcripts from Bethlehem High.
Right.
I don't know what the academic translation is from Israel to Notre Dame.
Yeah, he might have to take some prep classes.
Might have prep classes, maybe take some summer classes to get the GPA where it needs to be.
Yeah, maybe Jesus goes to JUCO.
Can you imagine Jesus on Last Chance U?
Oh, Jesus Christ. From
East
Butler
Mississippi Community College.
I do like the idea of a college announcer going, Jesus Christ, but just talking
But
about
yeah,
Jesus.
just talking about
ball carrier Christ, gain of 8. Third down and 2. Tackled by Smith.
It would, yeah. So I don't have a number for you, Angelo, in terms of NIL money. I think he makes more at Notre Dame than he makes at Southern Cal. Those godless heathens in Los Angeles.
Although, could you imagine Jesus Christ playing football at like UNLV or playing basketball at UNLV?
I don't know that he'd love the point shaving.
But Tarkanian could have gotten it done.
Yeah.
That guy was cool.
Yeah.
He feels more like a Duke guy to me.
Yeah.
True.
He's got a Dookie vibe.
It's Dookie vibe.
That's a 3 by Christ.
I'm probably
a one and done.
Good question. Thank
Terrific
you.
question,
Great question.
Angelo. I'm going to move on before we all get canceled.
But we're not being mean.
We were answering a question. It's a funny thing. It's a funny hypothetical
It's
to think
gray.
about.
It's wet outside.
Yeah.
Icy in some spots. Be careful.
Yeah,
please.
be careful out there.
And we're contractually obligated to answer every single question.
We are, especially about NIL. It's very important.
Yes.
Speaking of fun things in college football, transfer portal.
Mhm.
I think it's a lot of fun.
I do too.
I also really like how there's a transfer portal day now. So we get like a concentrated, almost old school MLB hot stove style college football season in the off season here.
What Gary say? It's college football Cyber Monday.
Yeah, it's terrific. It's super fun. I love it. I feel like we could make it even more fun.
How's that?
Okay, so hear me out. I'm a big reality TV dork.
Mm-hmm.
Love some bad reality television, especially bad dating shows.
Love where this is going.
Love them. I understand we're talking about a condensed time period here, so I'm not asking for a full television production. But you're telling me we can't get like a short TikTok 3-minute series on a big time transfer doing like a bachelor style elimination for teams? Because you got one guy, a bunch of people vying for his affection. We can't make like 10 3-minute episodes of this dude making his decision bachelor style and like get him making phone calls. Be like, I'm sorry, you do not get a rose. You've been eliminated. Hang up. I would watch the hell out of that.
Yeah, that'd be very entertaining.
There's ways to make this more fun. And let's be honest, we're talking about NIL money here, bringing it full round to Jesus Christ. You're telling me that you couldn't get buku NIL money off of a bachelor style transfer portal mini show?
Well, and just like
you have a host, someone just fits like
it would be probably Jesse Palmer still. He's got the college football background.
It ties in.
Yeah, he's got the college football background.
Yeah, but ESPNU, they're begging for content like that.
ESPNU, SEC Network, ACC Network.
I don't want it on ESPN because then Herb Street ends up on it.
No, I don't
We
know
have enough Herb Street.
Here's
already.
what I just need them to buy the content after it's been made on TikTok.
Okay.
You do like 10 3-minute episodes, and then they buy it as one show, and they do that with like 10 different guys, and now you have 10 30-minute episodes of Transfer Portal Bachelor.
I could see that being on like ESPN Plus. That would drive up subscriptions.
I would watch the hell out of that.
That'd be amazing.
Coming up next, a school in Montana enters the fray.
That's what I mean. Be like, he likes them he likes the outdoors. All of a sudden, Wyoming's in the picture. Craig Bull has entered the chat.
Yeah.
And can you imagine these like old crusty college football coaches like having to grovel basically on TikTok?
Yes.
For these transfers?
Yeah.
I would love it.
And plus you'd get a little bit more backstory into the player.
That's what I mean.
Because like if the kid's like, my family's got a house in Jackson Hole. He's going from Vanderbilt and now he's looking at Wyoming and it's like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah, listen, I think somebody needs to make this happen. I will be collecting a commission on whoever does make it happen. I want to be clear here, but I feel like there's something here. I feel like this needs to happen.
This sounds like content that we can all get behind. And maybe it'll advance to that. I mean, it's a little Black Mirror-y.
Yes.
It is a little past that, deeper into the dystopia with media and everything.
It's fine though. That's fine.
Yep.
I think we should lean into it at this point. The other question I have for you, kind of related.
Yeah.
Is there any other off the field sports niche that you would like to see them make into a crappy reality show?
You're talking not sports.
So like, it's a sports, but it's not the actual games. So like something like hot stove season, transfer portal season, recruiting season, whatever. Something outside of like, think Hard Knocks, like football, but not football.
Okay.
An off the field thing about that you would want to see, like, yeah, I would watch a television show or a TikTok series or whatever about that.
So I've always thought about this because of how much baseball players travel. Doing a Food Network kind of show.
Oh, that's a great idea.
With ball players who go to a different city, and you could follow a different ball player every week.
You basically, it's diners, drive-ins, and dives, Major League Edition.
Bingo. Yeah,
love it.
Yeah,
get them a car.
You've got the
they can drive in.
What, like Todd Blackledge does that with college football,
right?
But I want like gourmet. I want these guys going to like Michelin star restaurants,
exactly,
when possible. And then I also want to see like the drunk food truck stop as well.
You have.
I want to run the whole gamut here.
Yep.
That's a terrific
Every
idea.
pallet's covered.
I just put you on the spot for that one. That's a good answer.
And because ball players they have different backgrounds, they have different tastes. And
yeah.
So you'll see
you'll get a wide variety.
You'll see like the Venezuelan players going to Venezuelan restaurants in each and every city because there's a Venezuelan restaurant somewhere.
Yeah. And you'll just find maybe like where the really like niche.
The hole in the wall.
Yeah, off the wall.
Yes. Yep.
Absolutely. This is a terrific idea. We need to pitch this to somebody. That's a great idea.
That's MLB Network and Food Network.
MLB Network all offseason should just show that.
Watch.
That would be incredible.
That'd be great offseason content.
Plus, it would be
It'd be great in-season content.
Yeah, it'd just be great content. It'd be good for the players as well because now they have broadcasting experience if they want to get into TV.
They didn't have to go to Syracuse to get it.
I'm helping the player here. I'm helping. That's a terrific answer. I'm like, that's way better than my idea even.
Your idea was good too.
Yeah, I love your idea.
That was great. We should make TV shows for a living.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
We're on radio.
And just like that, kids, that's how the idea was born.
Let's call
on a cold, gray December day in Omaha.
We need to call somebody and make this happen. Those are both great ideas. I love this. Somebody get me on the phone with a media production company. Let's do this. Coming up next, we were talking about Hot Stove a little bit. I want to ask you, Alex, because it seems like the free agent market in Major League Baseball has done like a 180 over the last few years.
It really has.
So I want to get to that. We'll do that and more coming up on the Ravi Lulla Experience on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. The Connor Happer Show.
Would you rather know the lyrics to every song ever by heart or be handed $5,000 cash?
$5,000. In what instance would knowing the lyrics to any Heart song benefit me?
No, not heart songs. Like know the songs
by the band Heart.
No, like by heart. Like,
oh,
dumbass.
That's fair. That's a fair critique by you.
The Connor Happer Show, weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Staying cool and cloudy on Friday. Watch out for damp roads and possible fog early. Otherwise, expect mostly cloudy skies. A little breezy at times with northwest winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Highs around 38. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burden, AC, heating, plumbing, and more. Time-saving traffic center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect some significant delays from 84th to 72nd along Highway 370. Then along westbound I-680, be prepared for some slowdowns from Pacific to Dodge. And on Center, it looks like things are slowing down just a bit from 192nd all the way to 160th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by IBEW Local 22.
Does great pay, fully funded medical benefits, and a solid retirement sound good to you? IBEW has immediate openings for residential electricians. Invest in yourself with IBEW Local 22. Call John at 402-973-0613.
There are actually two kinds of cigars. The first is the one you smoke with beloved family and friends. The second, the one you enjoy with friends you've just met. And you'll find both at Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge. At Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, there's a well-stocked humidor with some of the best bands from around the world and a bar with your favorite cocktails and other drinkables. So what do you say? Which cigar will you be enjoying tonight? Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, just off I-680 and 48th Street next to Cubby's.
College basketball season is heating up, and when you need tickets to check out your favorite team, ticketsforless.com is always my go-to spot. Whether it's in Omaha or Lincoln or elsewhere, Creighton, UNO, the Huskers, any other team, ticketsforless.com has the best selection of tickets, and you never pay the outrageous per-ticket fees that you see on other sites. Yeah, that's right. Those outrageous per-ticket fees, not with ticketsforless.com. Plus, when you use the promo code THEZONE at checkout, you get a special discount just for being a loyal listener. That's promo code THEZONE. So lock in your seats and save with that promo code at ticketsforless.com.
The holidays are here. This holiday season, we encourage you to come support our local stores in Omaha. And Westwood Plaza has everything you need to find that perfect gift. Krypton Comics is a privately owned comic and hobby store. Located in Omaha for the past 30 years, Krypton has become the largest comic book store in the area. They offer a giant selection of collectibles like new comics, clothing, vintage toys, and more. If you can't find what you're looking for in the store, they'll do their best to track it down. Come in and see them on 125th and Center inside Westwood Plaza. Mind Meld Escape Room in Omaha has been locally owned and operated since it opened in 2019. Mind Meld Escape Rooms cater to everyone's preference, from alien enthusiasts, part-time paleontologists, grammar police, to amateur surgeons. They know everyone likes to have a good time once in a while, so why not let them help? Visit Mind Meld Escape Room on 125th and Center inside Westwood Plaza and explore this fun-filled venue today. Everything you need to shop locally for the holidays is at Westwood Plaza in Omaha.
Cubby's supports the PACE program with Raise Some Dough. For every large pizza sold at Cubby's in the Old Market, Cubby's gives $1 to the Police Athletic League, serving at-risk and disadvantaged inner-city children with athletic and educational programs. PACE has over 5,800 program participants. The league reaches kids that would not normally be able to participate in athletics like soccer and baseball due to financial situations and family dynamics. PACE wants to give every kid the opportunity at athletics and a healthy and safe environment. If you'd like to support PACE too, go to paceomaha.org.
It's time to save during 42 Degrees winter sale with savings on premium kratom starting at $11.99, Delta from $7.99, and CBD starting at $9.99. Only at The Source, 42 Degrees by your mom's house.
Hi, everybody. Gary Sharp, voice of Omaha men's basketball. The road trip continues. It's the final of 7 on the road at Montana State. Join me for all the play-by-play action coming up on Saturday at 4:30 with the pregame show, 5 o'clock tip-off, right on 1180 The Zone.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
1620 The Zone.
Welcome back. 1620 The Zone in the mornings. Ravi, Lulla, Alex Sindelar, Jimmy Chavez here. As you might have imagined, the Jesus NIL deal conversation got some people interested.
Imagine.
Yeah, nothing negative. Just people wanted to be involved in the conversation. So I will allow them. A friend of mine texts me, and he makes a very good point that while we were assuming a Catholic university,
right,
or for Jesus,
who's laid claim to Jesus,
yes, Jesus actually,
that's a segment in itself.
Jesus actually was Jewish, so he may be inclined to go to a Hebrew university,
right,
or whichever SEC school pays the most.
Fair. I don't want to.
That's nothing to do with religion. That's just the SEC is like, I mean, if he can play.
I mean, the NIL money in the SEC is always bigger, but
like, watch out for Hugh Freeze.
You wonder if he goes to a Hebrew university. You know, stay to his roots. So I thought that was a really good point.
I mean, it's a fantastic point.
Mustache Adam asks,
great name, Morning Adam.
Would JC go pro in something other than sports? Really good question.
I think miracles would be.
Go pro in miracles. That's the way to go for sure. His skill set in miracles is way better than his skill set in whatever sport he plays.
Right.
I feel confident in that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him play any sports, but I think his miracle skill set. He's a 5-tool miracle guy.
Wait a minute. Wouldn't Jesus be a great hockey player?
Because the walking on water.
I mean, he's already kind of got that.
Yeah,
Miracle
sure.
on Ice.
And the miracle on
ice. I see what you're doing.
I mean, he's
there.
already got the nickname.
He does have the miracle.
Al Michaels set it up.
That would actually be the coolest hockey nickname ever.
Yep.
Jesus, Miracle on Ice, Christ, terrific.
Yeah.
Love it.
For the Winnipeg Jets.
For the Winnipeg, exactly. But he's already got the flow.
He does have the hockey
got
flow.
The beard.
He does have a bit of a hockey look.
Mm-hmm.
Playoff beard year round.
Yeah.
I do. I like, maybe hockey. Maybe we're overlooking this here.
Yeah.
Good call on hockey. Tom, his name is Reverend Tom. I don't know if he's actually a reverend, but if he is, I think that makes
he plays one on the radio.
That makes him an expert in this particular area. Says, what's JC's mid-range J look like? A lot of places in the Big East would be a fit. A lot of Jesuit schools in the Big East.
It's true.
They'd be fighting over.
Yeah, I think
man.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. I
mean,
think
Providence is literally called the Friars.
That's true.
Yeah.
Providence would probably be a front runner there. I still think Notre Dame's the team to beat, regardless of sport.
Yep. Because I think he would stay away from like Holy Cross.
Yeah. I mean, he's a better prospect than Holy Cross. And
I mean, Bob Cousy went there. Doesn't mean Jesus.
Yeah, I think his prospect has risen higher than a Holy Cross.
I agree.
Probably not going low major.
No.
I think he's a 5-star. I would say he's 5-star.
Yeah. I think that's very good observation.
I'd hope so.
Well,
Schaefer.
So recruiting expert, Schaefer. He's coming up at 9 for Huskers 24/7. I'm trying really hard, guys. You almost got me with Holy Cross. I didn't go there. You almost got me. I am going to talk about baseball because that's what I said I was going to talk about.
He would sign with the Padres.
The J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed people got me off track, but I'm getting back on track. Alex, you're a big baseball guy.
Yes.
Big MLB hot stove guy.
Love the hot stove.
Love the hot stove.
Love touching it.
Don't touch the hot stove.
I touch it every year.
You're
I'm like,
damn, that's a hot stove.
Oh, the Royals didn't sign anybody again, huh?
Get your season tickets now.
All of the Red Sox best players went to somebody else, so they could pay a Japanese guy that nobody else wanted. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter at all. I feel fine. I wanted to ask you though about free agency in general here with Major League Baseball because what was it, 3 or 4 years ago? Was that the Harper Machado free agent class?
Yeah, where everyone signed really late.
2019.
I think it was 19.
So 18, 19 doesn't matter. We had 2 verifiable superstars.
Yep.
Like that. This is not like Harper and Machado in the same class is about as big as you get superstar wise.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that is bigger than Judge and Bogarts in the same class. But like Machado, Harper, like top tier guys. Those guys didn't sign till like February.
Right. It was
like basically spring training was either about to start or had just started.
I think pitchers and catchers had already
reported.
Yes.
Right. So you're talking like late January, early February.
Mm-hmm.
where these guys could not get the contract they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've got 360 for Aaron Judge, where there was plenty of offers, it sounds like. You've got, it sounds like the Giants offer was close. Sounds like the Red Sox tried to get involved late. I assume the Padres offered $1 billion because they offer $1 billion to everybody.
Yeah, which has been a really weird trend where I think they offered Judge $40 million over what he signed with the Yankees for.
Super weird.
Yep.
I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how they just all of a sudden have money. Like, good for you, but I don't understand it at all. Nope. Obviously, they end up signing Bogarts for $100 more than anybody else wanted to pay.
Yep.
11-year deal is weird for a 30-year-old. Whatever. But what changed? We went from the two of legitimate superstars.
Yes.
Having a hard time getting a $280-300 million deal to 3 years later, guys that are not of their caliber. Listen, Judge is of their caliber. That's fine.
Yep.
But the guys not of their caliber, Nimmo getting $160 million, Bogarts, 11 years, 280 was too much for Bogarts at this stage of his career.
Agreed.
I love Xander Bogarts. I was upset that Boston didn't get it done with him in the preseason and in spring training because they could have had him for about $160 then.
Yep.
And that would have been fine. What changed in Major League Baseball that now all of a sudden we went from two legit superstars cannot get a deal to, you had the weird thing with like Josh Donaldson could only get 1-year deals and he's still kind of on that trek with his career.
Which is fine because I think he's trash. So.
He is trash,
yeah.
But his numbers at the time were really good. And he was getting these rando 1-year deals with people. It's like, if he was coming on the market today, he would have gotten 4 years, $100 million from somebody like nothing.
Well, I keep wondering if a guy like Donaldson was like, oh, it's going to be my tryout year so I can get the big contract.
And then everybody finds out he's a trash person.
And then, well, not only that, but he strikes out 114 times and he watches third strike. In a lot of his at-bats. He's not a good baseball player.
But it seems like the dynamics of free agency have changed a lot in the last 3 years. And I think they've broken the free agent spending record in 2 straight years now, or they're projected to for the second straight year. Did something happen? What happened?
Well, I think it's a lot of it has to do with like the new CBA deal.
Okay.
And so once they got that deal ironed out and they got that through and they got through all the lockout and
so there was
whatever,
like an anxiety about the upcoming CBA. They didn't know what it was going to look like.
And the owners didn't want to spend the money.
Okay.
And so they didn't want to give long-term contracts to a bunch of players and then end up
before they knew what the deal was going to look like.
Correct.
Okay.
Also, I don't know if you've seen this, but Disney bought that video technology that MLB was using. So it was the streaming technology that
the MLB
has
TV,
used.
yes, which is by far the best league streaming service, by the way.
Yeah,
MLB TV has been incredible for almost 20 years now.
And in the end, I think it went MLB TV. They sold that same
to NHL,
to the NHL,
yeah. Or the same guys made it for the NHL. I don't know if they sold, but yes.
And then Disney finally finished that buyout this year. So that means they got all of the money, which is over $1 billion.
Yeah, a huge cash influx.
And so all of the owners got like hundreds of millions of dollars, brand new money to start this year. And so, that's why you heard a lot of the owners saying like, we can actually spend this offseason other than the Kansas City Royals.
Well, yeah. Why would they? Right.
No, nobody wants that.
You would like that,
Jimmy? I want that.
Oh no, I'm not. Hey, that was always my second favorite team. I lived there for a long time.
I want it.
I loved Kansas City more when it was a baseball city.
I think Happer wants that as well. I think he wants him to spend a little cash.
Yeah.
So that's a really good point because I was trying to figure this out and I forgot that they had gotten a new CBA since then.
Yep.
But it was so weird to me to see the spending spree the last couple years when Bryce Harper and Manny Machado couldn't get signed until spring training had basically started.
And now Bryce Harper looks like a surefire Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And the Phillies look like geniuses.
Yeah. Anybody in the league would be happy to give him the deal he got because he didn't actually get that much per year.
No.
They got him on a really long deal, but he's only at like 33 a year. I think it's like 11 years, 33 million or 330 million. Compared to some of these deals.
Yes.
Like that's for the caliber of player he is. Like they got kind of a steal.
Yes.
And they signed him pre-30, which a lot of these guys are not getting that big deal pre-30. So you're signing these guys till 42, 43 years old to get the deal long enough. And they're going to be trash.
Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah, they're going to be trash for the back half of that deal. They're going to be Pujols for the back half of that deal, minus this one weird last surge that he had in St. Louis. He was bad for 5 years before that.
Yes, but I mean, a lot of these contracts are front loaded.
They are.
So that back end, I mean, they're going to be making 9-10 million a year, which is
it's usually not that backloaded, right? Usually they're still in the 20 range.
True. Well, it
Depends.
Yeah, it depends on what player you're talking about.
You're still paying a guy that you probably wouldn't even have on your roster otherwise.
Correct.
By the time that the deal is up.
And you just hope that he can fill in at DH every now and again. That's about it.
By the way, he can be a lefty specialist.
Yes.
Like a platoon guy at $20 million a year.
Right, because you're not going to get that same production out of Trey Turner.
No.
In 2032.
That's what I mean. Like Trey Turner's got $300 million. Like it's like they're Major League Baseball owners turn into Oprah all of a sudden. It's like you get $300 million and you get $300 million. And they're like, Bryce Harper, we don't want to give you $300 million. It's like he probably is one of the only guys that deserves it.
Right.
Which is super weird. Jimmy, what were you saying?
Oh, no. I don't want to interrupt this, but before we get too far away, Hospital Steve called in. He's got to jump on a conference call, so he couldn't stay on to tell us. But he wanted me to tell you, Ravi, that Jesus would not be, if he were a hockey player, he would definitely be a hockey player. First of all, he would be a goalie.
Because he saves everything.
Exactly. While Wayne Gretzky can score, Jesus saves.
Yeah, that's well, I mean, we could go soccer there too also. Saves everything.
You could.
It's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really good point.
So thank you, Steve.
Yeah, Steve.
Enjoy your conference call.
Terrific point there. We hadn't really considered the goalie angle for Jesus.
No, we didn't.
But that's a really, really good point.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Steve, thank you for that phone call. We're sorry you couldn't join us, but I'm glad you contributed to the show.
He's enjoying the show.
On the Lus Hills Harley Davidson hotline. Well, I'm glad we figured out the baseball thing because I was genuinely stumped. And for some reason, I don't think of the baseball CBAs the way I do the NFL or they're not at the top of my mind the way the NFL and the NBA ones are. But you make a very good point. So I'm glad we hit that there. I do want to talk about, you brought up the Royals and them being cheap.
Yes.
The Red Sox are not cheap, but they just are really dumb with how they spend their money.
Mm-hmm.
They're not smart spenders.
No. We'll get to this coming up.
But hey, the Royals are going to move downtown in several years. So
yeah, that'll be great.
Can't wait. $2 billion stadium downtown Kansas City.
Just hope I'm not dead yet.
And then they're going to do a Marlins thing, sign a bunch of players, be terrible for 50 games, and then sell them all off.
I thought you were talking about a fish tank in the stadium.
Oh, no.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Fountains only. How dare you?
Yeah.
The
ribs and fish.
No.
Realman, the water features of Realman is a fountain, not a fish tank. How dare you? I want to talk about, is there anything worse? And this ties back to Nebraska football too, because before the Matt Rule thing got finished, there were some rumors that made it look like Nebraska might cheap out on a head coach. Is there anything worse? And think about this before we go to break here. Is there anything worse in sports than your team being cheap? We'll talk about that and more coming up next on the morning show on 1620 The Zone.
Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with promo code ZONE on an app that's safe, secure, super easy to use. You get your winnings paid fast. Live betting, you can navigate the app. You can find out where all your bets are and all the games to stay up to date. All you have to do is sign up today with promo code ZONE for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code ZONE. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 over, present in Iowa. First on real money wager only. Refund issued is non-withdrawable. Free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
Creighton Sports Update.
Creighton women's basketball is back at DJ Sokol Arena tomorrow as they host the Drake Bulldogs. Tip-off is set for 6 p.m. Bring a new or slightly used teddy bear to participate in the teddy bear toss at halftime to support Toys for Tots. Limited tickets are available online at gocreighton.com/tickets. That's Creighton versus Drake tomorrow at 6 p.m. And that's your Creighton Sports Update.
1620 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
With almost everything in life, you have choices. You can pick a lot, a little, or somewhere in the middle. So shouldn't there be an internet plan that's just as clever? One that allows you to add TV or home automation whenever. That's why Cox now offers flexible internet plans, giving you all the services you desire and nothing you don't require. Additional services can be added at then current regular rates. All services subject to residential customer service agreement and acceptable use policy found at cox.com/policies. Restrictions apply.
Got a sink that won't drain? For a limited time, we'll open your drain for only $93 or it's free. Hi, I'm Mark Evans, owner of Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and more. Sometimes a plunger just isn't enough. Burton's team of experts is on call 24/7 for emergency repairs. We offer upfront pricing, and your 100% satisfaction is guaranteed. Call for details on our 93 or free special or request service at justcallburton.com.
It's Macy's one-day sale now with great deals of the day on gifts they'll love, like 60 to 70% off men's and women's designer overcoats from Calvin Klein and more. 30% off party-ready juniors dresses. Plus, get 20 to 60% off the season's hottest toys. Best of all, everyone gets $10 Macy's money for every $50 spent now at Macy's. Learn more at Macys.com/Macy's money. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
Frank's Pizzeria in Omaha favorite is this week's half-off deal. You'll receive two $20 gift vouchers, a value of $40 for just $20. Frank's Pizzeria is Omaha's home for true New York pizza, calzones, stromboli, pasta, sandwiches, salads, and desserts, now with 2 locations.
Zone Deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring, starting wages up to $20.10 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply at the Holiday Inn Blair Monday through Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and the Florence City Hall Thursday and Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for on-the-spot interviews. Unable to attend? Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
Email us on the Equitable Bank inbox with whatever is on your mind. Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. You can get me, Gary, at 1620thezone.com. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone Inbox.
1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com.
Welcome back to the Ravi Lulla Experience here on 1620 The Zone. Alex Sindelar in here with me. We've also got Jimmy Chavez. He's supposed to keep things on the rails. He really hasn't today, I'm going to be honest.
It's not my thing. Anybody that actually knows me.
I just assume that's the producer's job. It often is not. But
when your experience is more on the air instead of behind the scene. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just know your 7 words, know your 3 rules of, get in and out of break.
That's
on
why I
time,
asked. I was
honor
like,
the sponsors and don't say the F word and you're good.
What words can I say here? We've had some really good
it may have been said already.
Jesus content today. I would encourage you just to check my Twitter on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed if you've enjoyed these segments at all, at RA Lulla. At __ Sindelar. A lot of people have engaged with the Jesus Christ NIL content. So thank you, Angelo, for setting that into motion.
Yeah.
No,
that's where it started.
Legitimately appreciate that. Somebody, I believe it was Jack, said Jesus would just throw constant Hail Marys to himself if he were a college football player.
I see what he did there.
That seems really effective.
It seems like super effective.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like his mom would help him out there.
I think she would, yeah.
So, we've got hockey. He'd be really good as a goalie.
Yep.
Because he saves.
Yeah, because he saves. We've got, I think he probably could be, we covered swimming.
We did. Yeah.
Built-in advantage there as well.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about basketball a little bit, which that's where the best memes have come from in this conversation is the basketball realm.
Oh my.
He'd be a really good fit in the Big East with the Jesuit institutions.
Big time.
Georgetown might need him to coach.
Yeah, Georgetown needs a player coach there for sure.
Yep.
Speaking of things that need saved, woof.
Like Buzz's girlfriend, woof.
But the Jesus Christ throwing Hail Marys to himself, hard to argue against.
I would
hard to defend too. Well, I mean,
incredibly hard. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Really hard to defend. You probably have some divine intervention there with Mother Mary.
Yep.
You're gonna have a hard time defending that.
I mean, only Sue would have been able to stop that, as we talked in the first hour.
Even then, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That might be tough.
That might be tough. I mean, if he could get to the quarterback, maybe, but he's not covering him downfield.
Okay, so let's just for 1 second entertain me here. Jesus goes to college, plays hockey, one of the best goaltenders
of all time, obviously.
In college hockey, gets a bunch of NIL money.
Mm-hmm.
And then the New Jersey Devils have the first pick
in
the NHL draft.
Oh, no. Do they have to change their name?
Absolutely.
Does he pull an Eli Manning and says, I'm not going?
He'd have to think about it.
Yeah, I think he would. That's not very on brand.
No.
You got to protect the brand.
You have to protect. You have to.
Here's the question. Do you, if you're the Devils and you're like, listen, Jesus Christ is the truth at goaltender.
Yep.
Forget Paul Pierce. This is the truth.
Yes. Do you change your name so Jesus is comfortable there?
I think you would have to.
What would you, the New Jersey Angels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The New Jersey
Diners?
Apostles?
Apostles would be good.
Apostles would be good, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You might have weird uniforms.
Because then it'd be Jesus and his apostles.
Yeah, that's his team.
Mm-hmm. Marketing genius.
Yeah, marketing. I think
we
all
have a
over
winner.
this here.
It's over.
So I think if you're New Jersey, you got to take advantage of that opportunity.
Yep.
I'm glad we fleshed that out a little bit more.
Thank you.
No, terrific question. I was a little hesitant. I was like, have we overdone the Jesus NIL deal question?
The answer is no.
But you came in and I asked a terrific question, and I appreciate that about you.
And it's the listeners that have carried it. That's the thing.
That's true.
It's togetherness. It's a family.
I was done like an hour ago, and the listeners just kept pouring on. And you got to give the people what they want.
And for a Friday morning,
got to give the
Thank you.
people what
we have to brighten up your day.
they
You
want.
looked outside.
It is. It's gloomy outside. We're trying to be.
It's so gloomy. They're going to do 4 Beer Friday on the show.
We're trying to give you the ray of sunshine
the afternoon
that you so desperately need on a day like today. I did want to talk about a little bit of a sportsy thing.
Yeah. No, we should.
Well, I teased before the break. Is there anything worse than your sports team being cheap? Like, as a fan, is there anything worse in sports than your team being cheap? And I'll lay out a couple scenarios for you here.
Mm-hmm.
You obviously experience with the Kansas City Royals, really, really cheap. They don't want to spend money. They have money because of the collective bargaining agreement, because of revenue sharing, because of all these things. They have some money. Everybody has money now, right? In Major League Baseball.
Before you get too far into this,
yes. What do we have?
Listener Joe, good morning, Joe. Thanks for calling. Says you guys are off on Apostles. It would be the New Jersey Saviors, especially if he's the goalie.
Oh yeah,
That's a good one. But I like how the Apostles include the whole team.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I feel like Jesus is a team guy.
We before me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
I feel like Jesus is a team guy.
He's always been a team guy.
He's
the ultimate team guy.
Yes.
He literally took one for the team. Trev would love him, servant leader.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we're going Apostles. I think it has to be a team thing.
Yep.
Okay. Glad we cleared that up.
Okay. Anyways.
So your Royals, everybody in baseball has a certain amount of money now because of the
Mhm.
way it's structured, because they didn't want small market teams to have an excuse to put out crap products. And still the small market teams like to put out crap products. I'm looking at you like Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Cincinnati. Those are the worst offenders, right?
Cold gray cities.
Miami, kinda.
Yeah, Miami.
They really like to build a team that sell it.
Just sell it all off before they ever win a single game in Miami.
Yep.
Weird vibes there.
They used to build them, win, then
and
sell
then
them.
sell them off, which was respectable.
Or you could be the Colorado Rockies, who paid the Cardinals $50 million to take arguably one of the best players that has ever played for the franchise. They paid an organization to do that.
That's a tough look.
Yeah.
That's a tough look if you're Colorado. So they're not cheap. They're dumb in a different way.
Correct.
Kind of like the Red Sox are dumb in a different way. They're cheap when I want them to spend money, and then they spend money when I would like them to be cheap.
Yep.
It's infuriating. Okay, but it ties back to Nebraska football too. And there was a kind of a week or two period between the initial rule rumors when things kind of had fallen apart and a second class of names came out.
Mm-hmm.
This was when the Jeff Monken, Bronco Mendenhall.
Still honking for Monken.
Honking for Monken. I will always be honking for Monken, just not at Nebraska.
Right.
I'm honking for Monken to drive cross country to Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a terrific fit.
Yeah,
I want to see it, and I want to see him at the Power 5.
The Monken?
Yes.
All for it. Oh, yeah. I texted you yesterday about that. Love it.
Honking for Monken. But that the Bronco Mendenhall names came up. The Jeff Monken names came up. This is where a lot of Lance Leipold traction was getting going.
Right.
There was a talk of Gary Patterson, who is ancient, by the way. People forget. But we got to a Class B tier of coaches. After the Rules, Fickles, Urban Meyers of the world, we got to a Class B of coaches that were going to be considerably cheaper. It appeared, at least. And there was some concern around Nebraska that was the motivation behind that list of names was, maybe we only want to pay $4 or $5 million for a head coach, not 7, 8, 9.
Right. Because we could save money on the back end when we eventually get rid of
Yeah,
him.
when that's what it felt like. It was like, well, we are pretty sure we're gonna have to fire this guy at some point.
Not the most positive.
We would like to not have to pay him $30 million again in buyout money.
Yeah, because you can't be a little gun shy when that
you
comes up.
have been paying as much buyout money as Nebraska has been. To be fair, right? It's happened a lot. To give Trev credit, that's not the direction they went.
No,
they went full in. They paid market rate plus a little for Matt Rule to get it done because they thought he was the guy. Money was not a factor.
Mm-mm.
Like Matt Rule as the hire or not, money was not a factor. So that I can live with, right? But is there anything worse in sports than your teams being cheap?
No.
Because it's so defeating.
Especially when there's resources there.
That's the thing.
Like I just talked about, all the owners got a big payday because they sold off that technology. And so there's no real excuse for any MLB owner to be as cheap as they are right now. I mean, I think the Pirates payroll is like $32 million.
I mean, it was literally the Royals forever before they won. But I was like, hey, at least
Yeah.
they have 750 24-ounce beers. So there's that. which is why we went in college.
And they're tank sevens. And it's like, oh, that's
Did some silly stuff, but this was pre-social media, so nobody knows.
The $32 million payroll of the Pirates is less than the famously made a movie about them cheap Oakland A's payroll 20 years ago.
And people are going off on Brian Reynolds for being like, why do you want to get traded?
Because they aren't even trying.
Care. They do not care.
There are certain organizations that have realized we can make a ton of money if we don't spend anything.
Yep.
And that's what they're doing. Cincinnati's a really bad offender of this.
Yep.
Pittsburgh's a really bad offender of this. Miami's a really bad offender of this. Kansas City, I don't know if they're nefarious or just incompetent. It's hard to tell.
Back and forth, but
yeah,
Mahomes is a part owner now.
Depends
They
on
love to
who's
tell
in
you
charge.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just so demoralizing when you know there's money there.
Yep.
We know every March there's no hope.
Yeah, whether it's March in baseball, or in baseball, whether it's you know how long this offseason would be if we're going with Bronco Mendenhall, a guy that quit at Virginia.
Yeah. I mean,
you know how long this offseason would be?
It's tough.
And we would never hear the end of
Be a lot of chili and cinnamon rolls
cheaped
this winter.
out.
Yeah. But I mean, you could be on the Colorado side of things where they hire Dion and they're like, well, we don't quite have the money yet. Then the AD come out and say, we don't really have the money yet,
but we'll get
it. But it's coming.
Which
And see,
I actually like. At least he went for it.
Right. But you look at the Padres and you're like, you have so many of these bloated contracts. All of these players are going to fall off at some point, and then you're going to go back into the dark ages of Padres baseball.
Or
because you have
they're
so
going to
much
start spending out somebody else.
Well, right. But it's like, where does the money ever run out? And so that's that you have to.
Well, that's the cool thing about being a billionaire, Alex.
I know, but you have to spend money, but you have to spend money smartly.
Right. But if you have to choose one of those two scenarios, you choose Padres over Royals every day of the week.
Right. But it's like when the Royals so desperately need just a starting pitcher, maybe two, and they go into winter meetings and they're like, you know what?
We're good.
We're okay.
We have our opening day starter right here.
Yeah.
They're going to trot out Gil Mesh again.
Hey, that's mesh money, baby.
Awesome.
It's the first time they ever spent money on a
And it was
starting
Gil
pitcher.
Mesh.
Yeah.
Give me 71-year-old Jamie Moyer is my number 2.
Uh-huh.
Runalevis Hernandez.
Yes. Jeremy Guthrie.
We are just gonna name random old Royals pitchers for the remainder
I
of
could
the
do
show.
that. People think, what edible did you guys have before this show?
Very Royal centric.
What in the name of Jimmy Gobble's going on here?
Big game James Shields.
Bruce Chen.
Man, they paid Bruce Chen.
Yeah, and he threw a lot of innings.
And
he
they
was
were all
very
bad.
Hacker's
all
probably
bad.
crying on his way in right now hearing this.
I had an opportunity to see one of Giordano Ventura, rest in peace, one of his first starts as a Royal.
Yeah.
And I was living in Portland at the time, drove up to Seattle, and he got scratched, and Bruce Chen started instead. And I'm like, this is the worst trade-off I've ever experienced in sports.
So, Space Needle, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, that's terrible. I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry that happened to
It
you.
was really sad.
I'm glad we landed at a place where we could just name random Royal starting pitchers for a while. I enjoyed that. Coming up next, we have another baseball fan, but he's got other things he probably wants to talk about today. Mike J. Schaefer from Huskers 24/7 coming up next here on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burden AC Heating, Plumbing, and More time-saving traffic center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect some significant delays from 84th to 72nd along Highway 370. Then along westbound I-680, be prepared for some slowdowns from Pacific to Dodge. And on Center, it looks like things are slowing down just a bit from 192nd all the way to 160th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Fernando's.
Help someone on your Christmas list get their Fernando's fix with Fernando's gift cards. Buy $100 and get a $20 gift card for yourself. Only at 75th and Pacific or 114th and Dodge. Hurry, offer ends soon. Feliz Navidad from Fernando's. FernandosOmaha.com.
He's back. Old Man Winter has arrived. If you notice the cold air leaking through your home's windows, give J-Tech Construction a call for a free estimate. Keep winter cold outdoors where it belongs. Let the official exterior experts of the Huskers, J-Tech Construction, upgrade you to triple pane replacement windows and start saving money on your energy bills. The cold doesn't have to mean higher heating costs. Get all the details by going to yourexteriorexperts.com. J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
MD West One's team of neurosurgical spine specialists is the largest and most advanced in the greater Omaha metro. MD West One has been voted the #1 private practice and #1 in neurosurgery and spine by Best of Omaha year after year. They can help if you're suffering from recurring neck and back pain, weakness or numbness in your extremities, sciatica pain, or any other recurring issue stemming from your neck or back. Go to mdwest1.com to meet the spine team at MD West One.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is Scott Schultz from Host Coffee. 2022 marks our 50th year and business has never been better. We continue to grow and add new customers. Many employers are looking for new ideas for their staff as people return to the office. Our pantry service is a great office amenity for staff and guests. Fresh food, snacks, coffee, water, and other beverages for employees and guests. Enhance your office experience with pantry service from Host Coffee. Learn more at hostcoffee.net.
Listen to the Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jay shoot-around and overtime shows. The Creighton men's basketball pregame and postgame shows on 1620 The Zone. The Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jay shoot-around and overtime shows are also presented by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More, by Barry Law, by Union Bank and Trust, and by DJ's Dugout. Before and after each Creighton game, exclusively on your home for the Creighton Blue Jays. 1620 The Zone, 1620 The Zone mobile app, and 1620thezone.com.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Welcome back to the morning show featuring Ravi Lulla here on 1620 The Zone. Alex Sindelar in here with me as well. We're having a hell of a time here today with our friend Jimmy Chavez.
No pun intended.
I didn't even do that on purpose. Joining us now is our friend Mike Schaefer from Husker 24/7. Schaefer, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are we doing up there in Omaha?
We're having a pretty fun day today. We're doing we're having a good time. You've got before we get to Husker recruiting, we've been talking a little hot stove baseball here. As
Like to hear it?
as
Love
a
to hear it, actually.
Guardians fan, how are you feeling so far in the offseason?
Well, they spent more money in the 2022 offseason than I think they have the previous 3 years. So, and that's by signing a very modest deal with Josh Bell for $33 million.
So they signed anyone at all is your point.
Yeah, basically. The fact that it didn't have like NRI in front of the player's name, which stands for non-roster invite for those that aren't sure, was a pretty big upset. And the fact that it was a player that people had heard of is maybe even a bigger upset. So I'm excited about that. I still want Sean Murphy, Oakland's catcher. I text Brunts every day. I'm trying to, I'm trying to let him know that just he and I can work the deal out, and we can let the general managers know.
Call it in.
That we figured it out. But yeah, I mean, Cleveland, unlike a lot of teams that seem to have a lot going on, they have a pretty much what you got in October last year is what's going to be back now, plus Josh Bell, and if they can figure out the catcher spot, they're going to be pretty good next year, I think, which is, I don't like being confident about them, but here we are. So.
Shafe, we were having this discussion, would you rather have a team that didn't spend money hardly at all, or that spent a ton of money but sometimes did it kind of stupidly?
I would rather, well, I don't know, because I'm very much in the first camp, and it's not the worst experience ever.
Yep.
But there is something about, like, going into the off season and knowing that your team has the possibility,
like being in the mix, right?
Being huge, yeah, like the Padres.
Like the fact that I'm over here just like still sort of excited that they spent $16.5 million on a pretty solid but mostly just average first baseman in Josh Bell should tell you like how rare it is. I mean, honestly, in 2016 they lose the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
They go out and they sign Edwin Encarnacion that offseason. That was like as jacked as Cleveland baseball internet could get for an offseason signing. It didn't work great, but it wasn't terrible. But there's just so few and far between. Like the only other moment in the last like 10 years that involved signing someone would have been the Jose Ramirez extension. That was like euphoric. Nothing will touch that. But, it would be fun to like be a fan of a team where it's like you have the possibility of actually signing someone. Now, I also think it'd be weird to be a Mets fan waking up this morning and realizing your center fielder is on a $160 million contract.
Yeah, it's insane.
When no one in the world was going to pay him that much money.
You mean like waking up as a Red Sox fan and hearing you spent $100 million on some guy from Japan that wasn't even the best guy from Japan?
I have a theory on this.
Okay, I'm listening. Please make me feel better.
They're just shedding, and they're going to bring in Shohei next year. They're just going to unload.
And like that, Ravi's day has been changed.
Then you have Shohei. You re-sign Devers because you're committed with Shohei. You're fixing pitching there. You're adding just a guy that I think would be phenomenal in Fenway Park. Obviously, lefties is the harder park than it is for righties.
Yeah, you still got a short porch over there.
Right. Like, so I personally think like they're trying to play a little, 3D chess here. Who knows if it works, but that wouldn't shock me if they're just trying to set it up where, okay, we already have a history with Dice K, and we've now added this other guy, and maybe we're showing Shohei that there's an opportunity here because they're going to have more than enough money to spend if they want to.
Okay, you made me feel a lot better, and because I like it, I'm going to believe it's true. So thank you very much, Shafe. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I want it to be interesting. I don't want that guy on the Angels his whole career like Mike Trout right now.
Yeah, it's really depressing to have two of the best players in baseball on a team that just thoroughly does not matter.
Agreed.
All right, let's get to some Husker recruiting before people revolt. Really big weekend for Nebraska, bringing in a ton of official visitors. Who are some of the highlights of that group that you're going to have your eye on in terms of either impact guys or guys that you think might be able to land a commitment this week?
Yeah, it's kind of an all over the map in terms of what this visit list looks like. You've got guys that everyone knows in terms of commits that are coming for their second visit. You have maybe the most popular kicker in high school history. Alvano is coming to Nebraska for an official visit. And I'm telling you, like, if he doesn't end up at Nebraska as a scholarship kicker, I think there will be a segment of the fan base that's more upset about that than the Dylan Raiola, anything like that. Like Brendan Radley Hiles, Dylan Raiola, they have nothing on Tristan Alvano right now. So we'll see how that goes. But so it's that kind of weekend. And then, you've got there's 4 transfer portal guys that are in. They're all kind of fascinating in their own right. We'll start with the one that's maybe, apologies here to long snappers, maybe the least interesting of the 4.
Come on, man.
Marco Ortiz from Florida coming in. He'd be a 1-year guy. You're trying to stabilize that position. You've got a guy that I think Brady Weiss did a lot for Nebraska last year, and I believe he is out of eligibility. So I think it's just kind of fully just looking and seeing what's out there and bringing in somebody potentially for a long snapping job. And then the other 3 guys, Jeff Sims, the quarterback from Georgia Tech, Elijah Judy, defensive end from Texas A&M, and then I can't pronounce the name. We'll just say Cornelius from UConn. That sounds better. Not UConn, Rhode Island, the right tackle, 2-year starter, maybe, depending on who you talk to, maybe one of the 5 most important people in the entire transfer portal in this cycle.
Okay.
So the fact that Nebraska is getting a visit right away is a pretty huge thing. Those guys are all really interesting. Judy has not played a lot, but he's from the Philadelphia area. You got connections with multiple people on staff. I think he'd be a pretty good fit in a Tony White defense. And Syracuse was recruiting him. So that certainly stood out to me as far as it relates to, like Elijah Judy. And then Jeff Sims, I think anytime you're talking about a quarterback, it's always going to garner a lot of attention. But when you're talking about a guy with that athletic profile, who's sort of this transfer portal's version of Spencer Rattler, it's also notable to me that a former Matt Rule, coach, and Jeff Collins was his head coach. And then Marcus Satterfield, of course, was the OC at South Carolina where he worked with Spencer Rattler. So Jeff Sims is a really interesting quarterback. So there's so much tantalizing potential, but there's so much combustibility with all of it. And then, as I mentioned with that offensive tackle, a really good player, 2-year starter. Talked to a coach over at Rhode Island. Jack Cooper's the defensive coordinator there. He used to be a quality control guy at Nebraska. He's had nothing but good things to say about the guy. So, just an interesting group there. And then they've got a tight end that's committed to Colorado that more than likely will not be playing for Deion Sanders, that they're trying to flip from the same school as Jack Stoll, and also their linebacker commit Hayden Moore, Regis Jesuit out in Denver. They've got a wide receiver running back that's 6'3" from Palmyra, New Jersey, named Quentin Ivis that could be committing this weekend. He's kind of he took a visit to Monmouth last weekend. Like that's sort of peak Matt Rule, right? Like we just talked about Jeff Sims, who couldn't be a more known name and a more like everyone has an opinion on it. And also in the same visit weekend, there's this guy that took a visit to Monmouth last weekend, but they're intrigued because he has, an elite body frame and they think that they can develop it. Like this is what it's going to be every single week. They have visitors. It's just going to be wildly all over.
So Shafe, I mean, looking at what they've recruited so far and just getting the commitment from Bryce Turner, I mean, it looks like there's like a huge emphasis on speed. Is that kind of what you're seeing? Is there just more of an emphasis on like looking at a 40 time as opposed to having a deeper background with skill set?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not just speed. The speed is certainly what Bryce Turner brings to it. It's the track stuff as a whole. I mean, one of the offensive linemen that they offered here this past week, who's committed to Old Dominion, is a really, really good discus, shot put guy. And so it's the explosion that you generate in track. And so it's almost, the speed is a big part of it, but it's almost that they value the athleticism that people get just from track reps as much as anything. Like I don't know that you make a full disclaimer. They won't take a guy if he wasn't in track, but they're going to be more interested if he was in track. And so I think that's a huge portion of it. With Bryce Turner specifically, you're talking about a 10, 200 meter guy that, again, you turn on the film, you're not going to be blown away. But what you see is a guy that's a really athletic person that has one elite skill, and they don't have to worry about that skill. They think that they can coach and develop him as a football player around that skill, and they've had enough success doing it with other guys that it kind of gives you a little bit of a hope that this isn't just like a total experiment.
Shafe, wanted to ask you about Tony White getting hired as the defensive coordinator. Not sure how much of a chance you've had to kind of deep dive into his history and everything like that, but just your initial thoughts on him as a coach and kind of the fit here.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. The name gets announced. I'm thinking about it. I pull up the bio. I'm looking at the picture, and I realized that in 2017, Tony White and I were at the same football game in Los Angeles. I was there watching Joseph Lewis and the Shari Crosswell for Hawkins High School. If people remember that at all, Hawkins was the major power. Joseph Lewis was one of their big players. All of that. And I'm like thinking about it. It's like, oh yeah, I met this guy. He's a San Diego State recruiting coordinator, super well put together. I just remember thinking he's probably not going to be there very long before he gets an offer at like a Pac-12 school. Sure enough, he's at Arizona State. He could have been the defensive coordinator at Arizona State, but he had the opportunity to go work with Dino Babers, who he knew from UCLA. And so he ends up at Syracuse, and you kind of forget about him. And it's just like, those are the sort of things you kind of remember. And I've had this happen a few different times where randomly, I remember that I would happen to be chatting with Matt Lubick or Scott Frost when he was the Oregon offensive coordinator. We were both there the same day in Oklahoma to watch Terry Wilson. Like, I was there the day that he offered Terry Wilson, and essentially the day that Terry Wilson flipped on Nebraska. So it's just weird how that stuff comes up. But yeah, with Tony White, 24/7 Sports has several connections in there, and I was getting these calls from analysts all yesterday afternoon. They're like, "Oh man, Nebraska got a guy that we think is just a total up and comer in college football." I mean, you look at what he did at Syracuse. Look at those numbers before he showed up. Look at those numbers after. Look at what Syracuse's recruiting rankings are and the type of defensive linemen that they have to play with, and the kind of success that he's able to have. So there was a lot of excitement at 24/7 Sports, which is already very high on that rule, very high on that rule. Now about Tony White, pointed out that Matt Rule has connections there because of the UCLA time. He coached when Tony White was playing at UCLA. He was a defensive line coach. But beyond that, they both have connections to Rocky Long. And that's kind of where this whole thing comes together. And what I like, as a person who played way too much NCAA video games, loved the 3-3-5, I like the idea of confusing the hell out of college quarterbacks. I mean, this is a very weird example, but do you guys remember the 2020 Big Ten championship game at Ohio State and Northwestern? And Justin Fields, for the life of him, could not complete passes against Northwestern secondary.
Yes.
Not because they were just phenomenal, but because they just kept disguising things.
Right.
And I think that football has gotten so copycat and people do a lot of the same stuff that, it becomes easier to call offense against, certain teams in certain situations because they get really predictable. the thing about the 3-3-5 is it's hard to get predictable because people can come from anywhere. They can be lined up as a defensive end and drop into as a linebacker. They can be lined up as a linebacker and come flying at you as a pass rusher. They could drop from a linebacker to the middle field, like a center field safety. There's so much that you can do that mess with quarterback heads that I think it will disrupt, timing a lot. And I think we spent the last 6 years watching a very passive Nebraska defense, a very bend, don't break. And this is not going to be that kind of defense. This is more of a, we're going to try to force you into a really stupid turnover and you don't know where we're going to come from. And I really like that as a fan of football. And I like that as a general principle in college football, where I think you're going to get more mistakes made because people have gotten really lazy in terms of play calling.
That's a really good point, Shafe. One last thing here before we let you go. Wanted to ask you about Jamari Butler. He puts his name in the portal. 2 days later, he's out. Is it too direct of a line to draw between Tony White and then Jamari Butler staying here? And also, how much does that actually matter for Nebraska with a guy that hasn't played a ton?
I think it matters because I think he's an interesting player at a position where you don't have enough interesting players. And so
Okay.
I think you'd rather at least have that lottery ticket than not. And then, even more than Tony White, like it could be Tony White, and I'm sure that has something to do with it. But it could also just be Jamari Butler went into the portal wondering what his market was, realized that, maybe I don't want to go play at Memphis, or maybe I don't want to go do this, or I don't want to go do that.
Sure.
And I just use Memphis as an example. I don't know why I picked Memphis.
Because they're trash.
Memphis.
I'm just kidding.
Don't they have that Bass Pro Pyramid?
I think we're going to see more of that than maybe we're prepared to admit, that a guy might just want to know what his value is.
Kind of like we saw with the
like,
NFL where people test the waters.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a real possibility. And I think Jamari Butler is going to be an example of that. But we'll see. And maybe the first time that he really goes on the record with it, he's going to say, yeah, I took a phone call from Tony White and we talked about how he could fit in his defense and yada, yada, yada. But I think more realistically, there's so many guys in the portal that if you don't generate interest in the first 48 hours, you're probably not going to end up with the level that you want. And so I part of me wonders if maybe that's what it was.
Shafe, great stuff. As always, you can check out everything he does over at Huskers 24/7. Hope you have a fun weekend. Sounds like it'll be busy for you, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, I'm excited for February of 2023. That's what I'm excited for. If we get there, then I can take a little bit of a breather. Best of luck with your weekend dreams of Shohei Ohtani. Hopefully they're hopefully it's not just me making stuff up on the spot.
No, it's what I want to happen, so it's got to be 100% true.
You changed his day completely.
Shafe, we
the
appreciate.
only way to live life.
We appreciate it as always. Have a good weekend, man.
See you guys.
That's our friend Mike Schaefer, Huskers 24/7.
Beacon of hope.
Yeah, I love that. Bring on Shohei Ohtani to Boston. They actually did do the same thing with Daisuke. They signed another Japanese pitcher at the same time of a lesser caliber. I'm trying to remember his name, but he actually ended up being the closer, I think, on the 07 World Series team. And so weirdly had a longer last, or is either 07 or
Papelbon was 07.
No, it was 13. It was 13.
Okay.
But I think he was there the whole time. Damn. Weirdly ended up having a larger impact on the franchise than Daisuke Matsuzaka did. So it does line up with the strategy they've used before.
I like that strategy a lot.
So
it makes a lot of sense.
If you listen closely, Robbie's talking him in.
Yeah, I'm 100% talking myself into Shohei Ohtani. I still need him to sign Devers.
Although if it's Kyan Bloom, maybe it's like Shohei's mortal enemy. And he's like, what have you done? Why would you sign him?
He probably did do that. He's like, he signed the one Japanese baseball player that Shohei Ohtani hates.
Yes.
That sounds like a very Chaim Bloom thing to do. You've made me sad again.
I'm sorry, Robbie. Look, it was just a joke. I was just goofing around, man. Cheer up, man. They're gonna get Shohei.
I hate it here.
Our bump music next segment will be Radiohead.
We need to bring the show down.
Verse is gonna be like, "The hell's this?"
I was like, coming up next, we have our friend, former Husker Matt Verzal. He will be here in just a minute on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, as we are in the holiday season and there are a lot of sporting events going on right now, all kinds of games and performances, holiday performances. Well, if you're looking for the perfect gift for the special someone, check out my friends at Tickets for Less. Don't forget you can download the Tickets for Less app. So give the gift of a live experience this Christmas. At ticketsforless.com, you'll find the best seats at the best prices to all the best sporting events and concerts. Have you heard the latest that are coming to this area? Morgan Wallen, Kenny Chesney, Monster Jam, and much more, along with all the great sports. Just download the free Tickets for Less app from your app store, and you'll get a discount code sent directly to your phone when you create your new account. It is pretty easy. They are giving you the gift this holiday season. So get your shopping done today at ticketsforless.com.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. Previously on The Crossover.
So is Matt Rule a Jersey Shore guy?
Oh, boy. These are the questions that we need to ask him.
Does Matt Rule GTL?
Let's get him on the show.
I don't even know what that means. But
Gym tan laundry. Come on, John. You got to go to the gym, John. Then you got to get your tan game right. Then you got to do your laundry.
Okay.
It was very strange.
I didn't watch the show. So.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Staying cool and cloudy on Friday. Watch out for damp roads and possible fog early. Otherwise, expect mostly cloudy skies. A little breezy at times with northwest winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Highs around 38. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine.
Do you hear what we hear? Omaha Steaks has tons of jobs and hours. Right now, we're hiring for a variety of seasonal positions in our warehouses. Plus, all positions come with a great employee discount on food you can use all year long. To view available job openings and to apply online, go to omahasteaks.com/jobs or text steaks to 22633 to apply today. This holiday season, dash through the dough and earn extra cash working at Omaha Steaks.
The holidays are here. This holiday season, we encourage you to come support our local stores in Omaha. And Westwood Plaza has everything you need to find that perfect gift. Ostad's Golf inside Westwood Plaza is a family-owned business with strong Midwest roots. At Ostad's, they pride themselves on creating experiences that turn customers into lifelong friends. Golf equipment may be what they sell, but at the end of the day, they're really in the business of fun. Come and see them for all your gift-giving needs at Westwood Plaza, 121st and Center. In Japanese, Zan means something akin to remaining, while Shin means mind or heart. In martial arts, Zanshin refers to a particular state of heightened awareness. The dojo, Zanshin Martial Arts, is the school of the remaining heart. Their mission is to support our community as a safe space for the improvement and protection of all. Get your loved one the gift of Zanshin Martial Arts this holiday season. Come see what they're about on 125th and Center inside Westwood Plaza. Everything you need to shop locally for the holidays is at Westwood Plaza in Omaha.
When shopping this holiday season, keep in mind that everyone already has a bread maker, 20 snow globes, and a popcorn tin collecting dust in their basement. What they don't have is an Absolutely Fresh gift card, good at Shucks, Bailey's, and Absolutely Fresh. Order one online at absolutelyfresh.com.
Your Omaha hockey team is back on the road, heading to Colorado College to take on the Tigers this weekend. Pregame is at 8 p.m. tonight. Puck drops at 8:30. It's UNO at Colorado College tonight on your home for Maverick Hockey. News Talk 1290.
This holiday, whether you're making a Baker's Simple Truth turkey for 40 or a Murray's baked brie for 2, Baker's has fast, fresh delivery and free pickup, so you can make holiday meals that bring you all together to create memories that last. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Free pickup on orders of $35 or more. Restrictions may apply.
Save big on your favorites with the Buy 5 or More, Save $1 each sale. Simply buy 5 or more participating items and save $1 each with your card. Baker's, fresh for everyone.
The Zone Hotline is powered by Los Hills Harley-Davidson, your home in the hills.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
1620 The Zone.
Welcome back to the morning show here on 1620 The Zone. Ravi, Lulla here, Alex Sindelar as well, with Jimmy Chavez producing, and we bring in our friend now, former Husker and our favorite restaurateur, Matt Verzal. Verz, how you doing today?
What's going on, boys? How we doing?
Oh, we're doing all right, trying to have a fun show here today. Want to ask you a question that we have been discussing a little bit today, because we've been talking about some MLB hot stove stuff. Would you rather have your team be cheap and just never spend any money? I know you're a Cubs fan, but so you probably experienced both ends of this. But just be cheap and not spend money on free agents, or would you rather them spend the money, but every once in a while they're kind of stupid about how they spend the money?
The way Major League Baseball is right now, I'd probably rather have them spend and then be probably savvy then on the back end of it. Like unless you have a premier front office, right? So you're thinking Braves, Dodgers, whomever is the Mets pitching coach, I would just I would pay that guy so much money to come to my team. That's I'm being 100% dead serious. I would pay that guy like $5 million a year. I don't even care.
Yeah.
I just come, whatever you do to find pitching, just come here and do that.
Absolutely.
But you gotta, like, those front offices are rare. I'm sure I'm missing some, but where they can just build and they're really good in the draft, and then you can kind of see a vision. Then you're going and trading for a piece or a part somewhere to kind of get you over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at that Braves roster, that is so disgustingly good.
Yeah.
And there's a huge percent of it that's all just homegrown.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just, man, they're fun to watch.
Yeah.
But, the Cubs, they're just, I don't know. It started to piss me off a lot. Like, your ownership group sold their family business for $26 billion. And we're bitching, and they own every piece of property around the state, and we're bitching about, like, paying money. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah,
you bought a $900 million team until you won a World Series worth $2 billion. Guess what happens if you win another one? Probably going to go up to about $8 billion.
Right.
It's a neat concept.
And just the Braves having all those players who are homegrown and then signing them to big deals. And it's like, I mean, I think maybe a lot of Cubs fans kind of wanted the Cubs to do that after 2016 of just showing that loyalty to their players.
Well, then you look at the moves they make, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they go out and spend $34 million on two dudes. I don't even know who they are. And then if you add Anthony Rizzo and Willie Contreras, the contracts there is $34 million.
Yeah.
So it was too expensive to keep them, but we're going to pay some other turds the exact same. And guess what? None of them can pitch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not one of them. So that, we're really addressing that situation awesomely. Like, can't wait to Hendricks is going to be, basically you're going to win his start.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, no, it's
but I will be there on opening day, and I will be thinking about it then, and I will get my arm loosened about the sixth inning because I'm probably going to be in the rotation. Out in there and go to middle relief. And I think that's what we're headed to. It's going to be a fan promotion. It's like, hey, if Hendricks doesn't make it out of the sixth, you're going into fifth. Like, okay.
I would love that. I'd pay money to watch that.
I would. I'll get in there and throw a bat.
I would pay money to.
First guy, though, right in the rib. Just so no, I don't know where it's going.
Yeah, you got to show them you mean business, right? You got to establish dominance.
Luke announce your presence with authority.
Oh, love it. No, the most frustrating thing is when you're like the Cubs and you have all the money in the world and you're like, no, we're okay. We're not going to spend any of that.
But it's, they're forcing it. Right? They force your hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only way, it's like Nebraska. The only way you're going to get changed is if you didn't go to the game. Well, I want to go to the game. I want to watch the game.
Yeah.
I want to watch it be awesome. The only way the Cubs will ever realize is nobody goes and watches. And guess what? Everybody goes to watch.
Yeah.
And drink, $12, $14 beers and $17 hot dogs and delicious Italian beef sandwiches. I mean, That's
No,
the best
you're right.
$40 I spent in 3 minutes in my life.
No, you're right.
Exactly.
So I do want to move on to Nebraska. Obviously, they hired a defensive coordinator yesterday. Do you have much familiarity with the 3-3-5? I know that's something that a ton of people have been talking about with Tony White coming on board. Is that something you have a ton of familiarity with? Because I know a lot of people don't, and I think a lot of people are wondering kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, I do. I hope, because somebody has something like set in stone for them, doesn't mean that they also know other defense.
Sure.
Right. So the 3-3-5. Okay, so you got to have a monster at the zero technique, which is set up on something like you got to have a dude that is very big. He's very mobile. He's very athletic. He's also very rare.
We're talking like a Vince Wilfork type, right? Something like that.
Like an Indomicon suit.
Okay. Okay.
If you get if there's another one of those somewhere, we find him and he has
that'd be nice.
4 twin brothers.
Yeah.
In my world, like they should just start booking flights to Samoa right now, because that's your best bet to find them.
No, sure, yeah.
Them dudes, man. I want them more in our program. Like, they're so awesome.
I agree 100%.
Yep.
Okay. Then your two, what are going to be your defensive linemen are 4-eye guys. Okay, so if we're counting out from the center's got 0 to 1, and then this will go off the rails quickly. Okay, I'm just going to tell you how I label them.
Yeah, absolutely.
2-eye, which is the inside shade of the guard. You have a 2, which is head up on the guard. Then you have a 3, which is the outside shade of the guard. Where the majority of the time spent by the defender for Nebraska will be a 4-eye technique. So it's an inside shade of the tackle.
Okay.
Right? So those guys, same kind of deal. Like, not as big, probably more athletic. The beauty of the 3-3-5 is that it can attack in a lot of ways. It can create confusion with blocking schemes, because that 4-eye technique could slant in, and then you blitz a linebacker behind it, could slant out. You blitz a linebacker where he came from. You can run both of those slants and bring one of your 5 defensive backs. That's where the 5 part comes in. Those in the 5 part of that, though, have to be, and this is the secondary, have to be really, really good tacklers. Okay? They have to understand the outside parts of the 5, have to really understand leverage and getting things forced back in to the 3-3 part of the defense.
Sure.
So you got to be able to do that. You can attack a lot out of the 3-3-5 if you can find that dude to be the 0.
So it's,
and maybe it's Ty Robinson. Maybe that's a perfect spot for him, or Nash Huntmacher. Maybe they feel that real good about those two.
Sure.
And with their new strength and athleticism guy, I'm not calling it strength and conditioning anymore. I'm calling it strength and athleticism.
I like it.
If that guy gets in and starts to shape athleticism, you may have a couple viable candidates to help you out right away. So, yeah, that's kind of a 40,000-foot view of the 3-3-5.
So it sounds like your biggest concern about a 3-3-5 is the ability to get the necessary defensive linemen to make everything else work. Is that a fair summation?
Fair summation. It worries me a little bit because I think he's the lifeblood of your program. G. Nelson's going to have to shape shift if he's going to play that 4-eye.
So what does he need to look like?
Outside in a stand-up guy kind of position, and they can move him out there. It's usually not the basis of the defense. You like to have him inside, but they can play outside wide. But that 3 steps is a different world. Being on the edge and having outside leverage is awesome.
Yeah.
Being down in where multiple 300-pounders can get their hands on you is not ideal all the time.
I've heard a lot of people concerned about the ability to stop the run with a 3-man front. Is that something that concerns you at all, or is that again more, hey, if they get the right guys, they'll be fine?
No, because the scheme itself is built to attack.
Okay.
Okay. It's built to be aggressive. It's built to not. When you get a 4-man front, you're like, all right, let's figure it out. You're going to get 1, maybe 2 double teams. We feel we got 2 guys who can take on double teams, and our linebackers will make plays. In this, you're going to create confusion. You're trying to create confusion for the scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where will this guy go? Is he going to stay here and play this straight up? Is he going to slant? Does that change our scheme? What if he moves? What if he shifts late and then he fake a blitz? And I'm committed to my blitz blocking responsibility, but then that didn't come, so now I got to be quick enough and smart enough and fast enough to get back into my normal responsibility. So it can create confusion.
Mm-hmm.
It's an aggressive defense when it's done correctly. And there are times where you think you know where the pressure's coming from, and the pressure comes from somewhere completely different.
So, Verse, as someone who deals a lot with the offensive line, he has a lot of experience with that. If you're an offensive line coach and you're coaching up your guys, and you have a 3-3-5 coming in the next week, as opposed to a 4-3 that you've seen maybe 2 weeks in a row, or a 3-4 that you've maybe seen a couple of weeks in a row, does that make you sweat a little bit more simply because it is so complex?
It takes me back. What I've got to do then as a coach is I've got to go back and make sure that we are technically and schematically sound, meaning I'm not coaching robots to say, you'll go there, buddy, he'll be there, and you'll run into him, then you use your strength. But no, I got to teach you, this is why the scheme is run. This is the footwork, the back angle, the hip flexion, and the hand position to get you in the spot to execute. You have to know why and how we run this play. And you also have to know what the running back is reading, because that he may end up, cutting towards you, and you can't fall asleep. Like, you have to maintain your pass. You have to maintain your base. You have to maintain your footwork so that it all executes. So that's it. When you're playing the 3-2-5, you're going back to technique and scheme probably more than you do in the weeks before. You get something where you got people run back to back same defense. That's pretty fun, because you're like, okay, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
We know this. We drilled it last week. Here's a wrinkle we're going to add in. And your practice time, isn't as much technique like. Now, you can evolve this 3-3-5 into a 3-4, which is not hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you're going to move, one of your outside or one of your defensive backs up, and now you get a completely different look and a completely different set. So there is flexibility to it. Just those guys have to be really gap sound, knowing if we have 3 linebackers, I have these 2 gaps. If I have 4 linebackers, I probably have this 1 gap.
Verz, I do want to end with a little offensive line talk here. I don't believe we've spoken since Donovan Raiola was retained by Matt Rule as the offensive line coach. What do you think he saw in Raiola that kind of led him, or what would you see in Raiola in terms of that would maybe lead him to being retained? Just your kind of, I guess, general thoughts on that move there.
I got super hyped after watching Nebraska be great in basketball. Okay. So with Donovan, what Rule is probably saying is, hey, we understand what you are dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We're willing to give you another shot. I don't think it was a new contract, right? He's just on his same contract.
I believe so, yeah.
You have him on contract already.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's got 2 more years on it. So of your coaching staff budget, okay, let's get our strength and athleticism guy here. See if we can body shift these dudes that play here. Okay, we can change around their makeup, and now we'll let him coach with what we feel is a more athletic set of guys.
Okay.
And maybe what he does will work. Maybe he will mellow and not scream and yell as much. Just like walking out on the field as he does.
Sure.
Maybe it will calm, and then he can actually just get in there and coach, because there wasn't a regression in what they had. There was by no means also in the same breath an acceleration of what they had.
Sure.
So it's like, let's get these guys in better shape. Let's get them more athletic. And then let's see if this guy can coach. He obviously has a pedigree. He's done it. He's got an experience. He knows the league. He played at Wisconsin, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
So he knows what the expectation is. So this now, with a staff that brings in a bunch of guys that all know each other already, they could say, this might be a little behind the back kind of thing, but they say, hey, if this isn't going the way we think it is, I can go over there and help him. I can be another set of eyes. Hey, maybe we do it this way. Maybe we try this, right?
Sure.
So you can kind of cover it that way. So it's giving him another opportunity. I think is fair. And Rule, he must interview well, because that's the move they made. I know they talked to, I think, 2-3 people, and they must not like that. So they decided to stick with Donovan, and away you go. So you get another chance now. You got to make the most of it, and go out and prove you're the guy.
There we go. Really, really good stuff today, Verz. Appreciate it as always, and enjoy your weekend.
I appreciate Nebraska winning that basketball game.
You just had to get one more in, didn't you?
Have a good day, boy.
Have a good day, Verz. That is our friend Matt Verzal, former Husker, owner of Paisan's Pizzeria. Listen, it's fair. I've taken the beatings. I've eaten the crow.
I know, and I got off scot-free.
You did,
because we did that show together.
It's as much your fault as anyone else's.
I know. I kept egging you on. I'm like, keep going, Ravi. Keep going, Ravi.
You're just pouring gasoline on the fire. You're like, yeah, I love it. More.
Well, the gif of the girl as the thing is burning behind her, and she's just got this grin on her face.
Mm-hmm.
You're the girl with the grin on her face.
Absolutely, because you had to eat every piece of crow this week,
and
I'm
you
like,
did not have to do anything.
No, I sat in my little office and I was like, ha.
And you see what they said about it.
My
silly
mentions
Twitter
were a dumpster fire. But no, that was really, really good stuff from Verz.
Yeah.
On the 3-3-5 and on the
When he
offensive
starts
line.
teaching, I can listen.
Man, that was great. That is probably as good a stuff as if you're not super familiar with the 3-3-5, which a lot of us aren't, even if you think you're familiar with the 3-3-5 and you just want some like good teaching football content, that was it right there. So we really appreciate Verz for that. We know we've had a kind of a fun, silly show, but that was like awesome, hardcore football content right there for you as well.
And it'll be up online here in a little bit. In fact, I think we'll make that the top play today, because people need to go back and listen so they can
that was
just geek out to it.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was really, really good stuff. I appreciate him taking the time to explain it to us, understanding that he was going to have to break it down further than he would talking to, people that have either played in a system like that or are more familiar with it, breaking down the different techniques and spots. Just really appreciate that. Was really, really good stuff. So I got smarter there. I think you'll get smarter there too if you go back and listen to that segment. So really good stuff there from Verz. We appreciate that. All right, coming up next, we will wrap up the week and get to the crossover coming up here in a little bit, right here on the Ravi Lulla Experience on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, right now, shop Woodhouse Buick GMC first and experience the difference. Large showroom, allowing you to shop inside during the cold weather over at 119th and I for all the new and pre-owned inventory. And there is inventory arriving daily. So you're thinking about a car, truck, or SUV. How about the 23 GMC Acadia, which gives you plenty of room to fit your family comfortably, 3 rows of seating, plenty of cargo, plus the luxury, the leather interior. You've got an 8-inch infotainment screen. And most importantly, as the weather is changing, and the weather here in Omaha could be a little dicey today, you got heated power folding mirrors, remote start, heated seats, heated steering wheel, traction selection system, and advanced temperature control. So you can stay safe and warm this winter in a new vehicle like the Acadia or another one from Woodhouse Buick GMC. You can also do work online where they streamline the process at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. You can chat online with a team member, and they will take care of you. Take care of yourself right now. Head over to 119th and I, where you'll find Woodhouse Buick GMC. Shop Woodhouse GMC first. Their huge indoor showroom, 119th and I, or online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
It's an NFL doubleheader on Sports USA. And first, we're in the Empire State as Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills host Garrett Wilson and the high-flying New York Jets. Then, we head to the Rockies as Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs try to wrangle the Denver Broncos with Russell Wilson and Jared Judy.
Steps around one defender and goes into the end zone. Touchdown, Denver.
It's the Jets at the Bills, then the Chiefs at the Broncos. This Sunday on Sports USA.
If it's the NFL, it's on 1620 The Zone. Caller 4 right now, 402-951-1620. Qualifies for 1620 The Zone's 4-quarter pick'em. It's your chance to pick 4 football games correctly against the spread to win $1,620. Call 402-951-1620. Call now to qualify with 1620 The Zone.
Hey everybody, it's Michael Severe for Ted and Wally's, 2 locations, one in Benson, and of course the old one, you know it very well, down in the old market. I've been going to Ted and Wally's now for, wow, it's over 20 years. When I first moved here, my wife took me, stood in line in the old market, and I remember it very well. It was a sweet corn ice cream, and I thought to myself, sweet corn ice cream? Well, I have to try this because I love corn, love ice cream, and it was amazing. It's just one of 3,000 flavors that Ted and Wally's has made over their more than 35 years in business. It's incredible. It's such a great place to go and just enjoy nostalgia. You have some old-fashioned flavors. You have some new flavors. They're always there to make it delicious for you. Call ahead to get a pint or a quart or a half-gallon set up so when you drop over, you can just grab it, take it home, have it ready for just a treat at home or maybe for a holiday party. It's over 3,000 flavors. Check out our social media. See what the flavors are today. It's over 35 years of nostalgia at its finest, made in old-fashioned way in 100-year ice mountain freezers. Check out Ted and Wally's today.
Brent Rasmussen of Mortgage Specialists. When is the best time to buy a house? The answer is now. It's always now. With interest rates creeping up, the real estate market has slowed down, except for the people that were planning on upgrading their home because of life changes. But the one thing we want to let people know is, even if you buy a house now at the higher rate, we anticipate rates to fall. That means you can buy your house now and refinance down the road. Lots of folks think waiting this out is a good strategy. The trouble is values keep rising, so waiting doesn't really help. Plus, if rates come back down, the market will just get busy again, meaning you'll be competing against more buyers with multiple offers, and you might not get the house that you want. We're seeing the market starting to get back to normal, which is a good thing for buyers and sellers.
Click mtg-specialists.com. NMLS number 5918, Equal Housing Lender.
This holiday, whether you're making a Baker's Simple Truth turkey for 40 or a Murray's baked brie for 2, Baker's has fast, fresh delivery and free pickup, so you can make holiday meals that bring you all together to create memories that last. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Free pickup on orders of $35 or more. Restrictions may apply.
Save big on your favorites with the Buy 5 or More, Save $1 each sale. Simply buy 5 or more participating items and save $1 each with your card. Baker's, fresh for everyone.
Suicide can be prevented by knowing the warning signs, and most importantly, knowing what to do if you recognize those signs in yourself, a loved one, or even a stranger. There are simple ways you can be there for someone, so they can be here for more tomorrows. Visit moretomorrowsne.org to learn the signs, how to approach the conversation, and where to get help. Or call 988 for help now. That's moretomorrowsne.org.
Hey Tapper, now's the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Why? Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Imagine watching a game, betting on it, and not sweating. Free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. All you got to do is use my promo code HAPPER, HAPPER. Whether it's college football, the NFL, anything in between, you can combine your bets at a chance at a bigger payout with our same-game parlay. A lot of things to love about FanDuel. They have all your favorite bets from money line, point spreads, player props, and you can combine those together for your chance at a same game parlay. Live betting on Saturdays, live betting on Sundays. That's one of the things that I take advantage of. And you get your winnings paid out quickly on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. So sign up today with promo code HAPPER for your no sweat first bet. That's promo code HAPPER, HAPPER. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over, present in Iowa. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as now withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
tough. Thank you to everyone who voted for MD West One in the Best of Omaha contest. We are thrilled to announce MD West One has been named the #1 private medical practice in Omaha for 4 years in a row. MD West One is also named first place in the orthopedic surgery and neurosurgical spine surgery. Our 34 board certified surgeons specialize in treating every bone, joint, or muscle condition from head to toe. Go to mdwest1.com to meet the #1 place to go for orthopedic, neurosurgery, and spine.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call on the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Find your next truck at Woodhouse Buick GMC. No matter where you're heading or what tasks need tackling, there's a premium and capable GMC truck that's perfect for you. Make a statement on the job site, out on the town, or wherever life leads you in the powerful and distinctive Sierra 1500, or elevate your driving experience in the adventurous and innovative Canyon. Explore our inventory online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com or visit our indoor showroom today. Woodhouse Buick GMC. We are professional grade.
1620 The Zone.
Welcome back to the Ravi Lulla experience.
And it has been an experience.
It has been an experience on 1620 The Zone.
So many laughs.
A lot of laughs. Alex Sindelar here with me, Jimmy Chavez. We're wrapping up the week here.
Fun, fellowship, and friends.
Gary is out in Bozeman, I believe.
Oh, wow. Beautiful Bozeman.
He is a
Bears in the parking lot, he said.
temporary Bozite, if you will. I don't know if that's what they call themselves.
They did on Big Bang Theory.
Bozo?
That's where I was. Yeah, I was going for. That's what Sheldon suggested. They become Bozites.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought that the other day.
No, that's one of the first things I thought of. That might be one of my least popular takes, as I actually don't mind Big Bang Theory. I know a lot of people hate it.
Is there ever going to be a show called Old Sheldon?
I hope so. I would like to see old man
we've had
Sheldon.
some ideas today.
Mm-hmm.
That would be terrific.
Octogenarian Sheldon.
It's a little bit senile.
Yeah, he's completely lost it.
Yeah, but he still is very smart. So he has moments of lucidity. But he's just he's thought too much, used too much brain power over the course of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's not totally a functioning human being anymore.
He'll be like that one professor on Young Sheldon.
Yes. Yeah.
He becomes him.
Yeah, exactly. I would watch Old Sheldon.
I would.
I haven't watched Young Sheldon.
Oh.
It was I just haven't gotten into it yet.
Well, it's a completely different show stylistically, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no Kaylee Cuoco.
No.
That is a stylistic choice that I appreciated about the first show.
That's
why I started watching the show.
Does Young Sheldon have a laugh track?
No, I don't think they
I
have
don't know.
anything.
Oh, there you go.
A lot of people hate the laugh track.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
They want to hear Young Sheldon was filmed before a live studio audience.
It's not my favorite, but I grew up with enough laugh tracks that it doesn't bother me.
Yep.
At my age, which I'm only 5 years older than you, but the laugh track was very common through the 90s.
Big time. Yeah.
And then it wasn't until The Office-ish when everything started going away from that. So if you're just a little younger than me, your first real experiences weren't Friends.
Right.
Where it was, and even Scrubs, I think was pre-Office, I think, right?
Yes.
It was.
01 to 10.
Yeah. So you get a little pre-Office sitcoms that the laugh track is just part of it. And I honestly, I don't even hear it. I really don't.
Tune it out.
My brain just completely tunes it out. So I can't even tell you oh yeah, that show has a laugh track, because it's just gone.
Mm-hmm.
Just evaporates. It's out of my brain.
That's good brain power.
It is. I do have the biggest brain. No, got the best brain. Alex, this has been super fun today. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out.
Absolutely.
Jimmy, we appreciate you as always. Appreciate you chiming in.
It was an emotional experience.
It was a little bit of a roller coaster there.
I'm gonna go cry now.
We had some. I think Alex is gonna go have a cigarette.
No doubt.
That's not a metaphor.
Need one
He's actually gonna go have a cigarette. Coming up next, we've got the crossover with Connor Happer here on 1620 The Zone.